The NHL, 1 p.m., Philadelphia Flyers take on the New Jersey Devils. Flyers on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 940, Devils on Internet 936. 3:30 p.m., Washington Capitals take on the Seattle Kraken. Capitals on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 950, Kraken on Internet 943. 3:30 p.m., Minnesota Wild take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Wild on Sirius 208, XM 219 and Internet 933, Penguins on Internet 941. 5 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes face the Winnipeg Jets. Hurricanes on Sirius 209, XM 220 and Internet 924, Jets on Internet 951.
SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is the place for expert advice, strategy, and information from the best fantasy sports analysis to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on SiriusXM 87.
Hockey Hall of Famer and Stanley Cup champion for the Edmonton Oilers and New York Rangers, Mark Messier joined Scott Laughlin on the morning skate for SiriusXM NHL Network Radio on Channel 91 to discuss the pressures of Game 7 after having played in 9 Game 7s himself, winning 7 of them, and how you can either thrive under pressure or crumble underneath it.
I must look at Game 7s, Mark, like I do overtime in the Stanley Cup playoffs or overtime in any sporting event where you've got so much pressure on you and every play gets magnified. Could you, during the course of your career, and you don't have to name names, but could you look around the dressing room or could you look on the opposing bench and could you figure out those that wanted to be the hero and those that just wanted to avoid making the mistake? I mean, was that plain for you to see that there were those that wanted the puck on their stick with the game on the line that could thrive under pressure, and then you had the opposite as well?
I felt myself in those moments there defaulting to the more defensive side of the game. And then I played with my right winger who I won 6 Stanley Cups with, Glenn Anderson. He was the kind of guy that was trying to, really drive hard offensively and take the game and try to score the winning goal. And we're on the same line. Maybe that the difference of us in our mentalities work perfectly. But everybody's wired different. Everybody's got fear, failure. The best have that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to internalize those feelings, but you can't let them paralyze you. And it's for me, going into a Game 7, I allowed myself to visualize what if we didn't win, leading up to the game, and then slowly as you get closer to the game, you allow yourself to kind of push the negative feelings aside and you start to fill yourself up with all the great things that are going to happen and what you need to do to execute the game plan. And of course, ultimately to seeing yourself, holding the trophy. And then as the game starts, all the negative and the positive go away. And then you drill yourself down into, just executing the game plan. And you don't think about the what ifs and what should have been or what could have been. You just really kind of play in the moment. And I think trust becomes a massive word when you think about it. Can I trust each one of the players that are going out there to not only to do their part from a strategic standpoint, be in the right position, be in the right places at the right time, but not get undisciplined and take poor penalties at the wrong time because their ego is bruised and someone took advantage of them, then being able to hold all that in check. So there's just so many dynamics to think about for a team in order to overcome all the obstacles to win a championship. And it's fascinating to me. It's one of the reasons I was able to play 26 years, because once you do it, you understand how fun it is, but also how complicated and intricate it is to kind of get not only the team from a physical standpoint to come together, but how a team comes together emotionally, mentally, and the spirituality around a team and the respect that lives inside that locker room is incredible.
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. SiriusXM Fight Nation, SiriusXM 156, and the SXM app.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Sunday, March the 9th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., Philadelphia Flyers take on the New Jersey Devils. Flyers on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 940, Devils on Internet 936. 3:30 p.m., Washington Capitals take on the Seattle Kraken. Capitals on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 950, Kraken on Internet 943. 3:30 p.m., Minnesota Wild take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Wild on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 933, Penguins on Internet 941. 5 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes face the Winnipeg Jets. Hurricanes on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 924, Jets on Internet 951. 6 p.m., New York Rangers take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Rangers on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 938, Jackets on Internet 927. 8 p.m., Vegas Golden Knights take on the LA Kings. Knights on XM 219, Internet 949, Kings on Internet 932. 9 p.m., Vancouver Canucks take on the Dallas Stars. Canucks on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 948, Stars on Internet 928. 9 p.m., Anaheim Ducks take on the New York Islanders. Ducks on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 920, Islanders on Internet 937. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Sunday, March the 9th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., Philadelphia Flyers take on the New Jersey Devils. Flyers on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 940, Devils on Internet 936. 3:30 p.m., Washington Capitals take on the Seattle Kraken. Capitals on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 950, Kraken on Internet 943. 3:30 p.m., Minnesota Wild take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Wild on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 933, Penguins on Internet 941. 5 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes face the Winnipeg Jets. Hurricanes on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 924, Jets on Internet 951.
Mad Dog Sports Radio has the best sports talk in the business, covering sports with a passion and knowledge you need. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 86, and the SXM app.
Mark Messier is a 6-time Stanley Cup champion. He won 5 with the Edmonton Oilers and 1 with the New York Rangers, and is the only player to captain 2 teams to Stanley Cup championships. In Edmonton, after winning back-to-back Stanley Cup championships in 1984 and 85, it wasn't until 1987 where the team would win their 3rd Stanley Cup championship. Speaking on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Messier joined Scott Laughlin for the morning skate on Sirius XM Channel 91 to talk about what it was like to win that 1987 Stanley Cup Finals series against the Philadelphia Flyers, despite blowing a 3-1 series lead and having to win it in a Game 7.
Mark, let's go back to the 1987 Canada, or not Canada Cup. That was still to come.
That was
but
a
the
good Canada Cup.
Yes, that wasn't Game 7, but that was an all-decider as well, as we know. But for Game 7, yeah, that was pretty good stuff. But 87 in the Stanley Cup final, you're facing Philadelphia. You're up 3-1 in the series. They come back to tie it. Now you've got Game 7. Take us back to your greatest remembrances of, again, almost letting the series slip away and then having that opportunity in Game 7 to come up big, which you guys clearly did.
Well, it just goes to show you that we felt back in 87, we were really at the peak of that team in some ways. Some people think 85 team was the best team ever. 87, I think, was probably the most talented team. I think 85 team had a better overall record. I think it was 16-1 or 16-2 in that playoff year. 87, we got tangled up against Philadelphia, but we felt we're a better team. But sports isn't about who's a better team. It's about it's about the belief system inside the dressing room. And Philadelphia wouldn't quit. Mike Keenan wouldn't allow the young Philadelphia team to quit. They were kind of banged up. They had some injuries, but they were able to extend the series after what we thought probably should have been maybe at least 4 or 5 game series. We lost, I think, the first game, if I remember correctly, and then came back and won 3 in a row, coming home to win the 5th game, only to realize that winning a championship, even after all the experience we had, is not that easy. And then going back to Philadelphia for Game 6, and they trounced us in Philly. Now we find ourselves in a Game 7, and then once you get to a Game 7, anything can happen. And you can get a bad break, an unlucky bounce, as we've seen in the past. And so everything's at stake, everything's on the line, and I think luckily for us, we're able to, really kind of rely on our experiences that we had in the past. We felt incredibly confident that if we went out and played our best game and Philadelphia went out and played their best game, our best was going to be good enough. But even with that, there was so much uncertainty. And sure enough, we were able to win our third cup in 4 years, which was quite an incredible feat.
That was Hockey Hall of Famer and Stanley Cup champion for the Edmonton Oilers, Mark Messier, on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio's The Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin on Channel 91.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. SiriusXM Channel 89.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Sunday, March the 9th. All times are Eastern and please.
When the season's over, right? And, maybe it will, maybe it won't. But there's nothing that you can do about it now. And I just think you're getting back and playing a team that you're right in the hunt with. You're tied with points. They do have a game at hand. You can't help but pay attention right away. So it's back on the horse. You're still in the hunt. Yesterday's yesterday, and today is today, and it's a new day.
And a Columbus team that obviously has been through a lot this year, even since before the season started, but they're right there neck and neck with the New York Rangers. Huge game tonight.
Oh, there's no question. Columbus has been the best story in the league this year. It really has, given the circumstances of the offseason. And the injuries they've had significant injuries, and yet they've found a way. And I talked to Jody Shelley and Steve Mears, their TV guys, and that spirit of Johnny Gaudreau pervades the locker room. And I think it's best seen through the play of Zach Werenski. Werenski has been an all-world player this season. He has battled injuries younger, but for Makar, I think he'd be a shoe-in for the Norris, and will garner votes for the MVP also. So there's a lot of kind of mystical things that are going on in Columbus, and it's been a great story, and it'll be a hell of a game here tonight.
All right, Dave, let's get right to the goalie matchup here, brought to you by the Macallan Double Cask 12-year-old Single Malt Scotch.
Well, again, it considered a matchup of the backups, but both backups have been pretty good, although Daniel Tarasov has not played as much recently, or neither one have played an awful lot recently, but you go back to the game here at the Garden where these two teams met, and Tarasov got his first career shutout and took the loss in the shootout, right? And he was terrific. Excellent size, elite NHL tools. This is a promising netminder with a tremendous upsize. He checks in at 6'5". He's a little on the lighter side, 25 years old, a third-round pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets in 2017. His last start, he beat Detroit, stopping 29-31 on the 27th of February. That was a 5-2 victory. And again, his numbers, just that one career start against the Rangers, and boy, oh boy, he was good. And his last 5, he's been 3-1-1 with a .931 save percentage. So this is a guy the Rangers are going to have to force him to work. In the meantime, Jonathan Quick, and what can we say once again about Quick that hasn't been said before and legitimately said? Uber competitive, battles unbelievably creatively and hard for positioning, never quits on a play. This guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer. This is, again, he's looking for his 403rd career win. His last start was a shutout against Nashville. He stopped all 34 shots. Career numbers against Columbus, 29-0, 2.46 goals against average, and a .905 save percentage. Pretty good matchup and goal here tonight, Danny.
I would say so. Goalie matchup brought to you by the Macallan Double Cask 12-year-old Single Malt Scotch Whiskey, the perfect balance of American and European Sherry Seasoned Oak Casks. 2 worlds, 1 Macallan, imported by Edrington Americas. Please enjoy responsibly. All right, Dave, how about some keys? What's it going to take tonight?
Well, it's almost you beg this team to be better in certain areas, and it's the same thing all season long. We saw this team play against a really good Toronto team, and they were terrific in their own end. A minimal running around, picking up loose pucks, picking up bodies. Not so much yesterday in the third period, not so much 2 games ago in the third period where you coughed up 1-goal leads to lose the extra point in overtime. Better play, particularly in the front of the net in the D zone. Stay out of the box. The 5 penalties yesterday against Ottawa, that's enough, let alone the 13th too many men on the ice penalty. That's inexcusable. stay out of the box. If you're going to take a penalty, make it a worthwhile penalty. And finally, in the words of the great Bill Chadwick, shoot the puck, Barry. Please shoot the puck. There's too many times that this team turns away from a glorious opportunity to get the puck in the net. So, it's like we're crying from the hill, the same things, but those things are important to this team. They have a chance to win.
May not be a Barry, but the message will be conveyed nevertheless. Dave, great stuff as always. Looking forward to hearing from you and Donnie on the call tonight. Let's pause 10 seconds, allow stations to identify themselves on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network.
Hey, this is Mika Zibanejad.
Hey, this is Adam Fox. Catch every Rangers game right here on 880 ESPN.
WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
I'll talk to you again during the first intermission. Coming up next, though, Don LaGreca, Dave Maloney. They've got the call, an important Sunday night showdown here at MSG between the New York Rangers and the Columbus Blue Jackets. And New York Rangers hockey on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network continues right after this timeout. Enjoy the game, everybody.
This has been New York Rangers Game Night. Rangers hockey is coming right up on the MSG Radio Network.
Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers, are here to help you with your heat and water heating needs. Hockey season is the perfect time to replace the inefficient beast in your basement. Peerless Boilers are the perfect match for homes, apartments, commercial buildings, you name it. And with a 96% efficient Peerless Boiler, you get all the heat you need and save on all of your energy bills all year long. Learn more about the Peerless Boiler family of products. To find a local installer near you, visit peerlessboilers.com. And remember, Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers.
What key is tonight going to be played in? Well, that's entirely up to you and your spirit. Over here at Wild Turkey, we're opting for something that rings true and can reverberate for ages. A little 101. Wild Turkey 101 has been pleasing crowds for decades with its iconic rich flavor. Crafted with generations of know-how and the finest ingredients. Wild Turkey. Trust your spirit.
Copyright 2024 Campari America, New York, New York. Never compromise. Drink responsibly.
With the enhanced engine performance and fuel economy of newly reformulated Tri-Clean gas from Citgo, you're good to go. But good to go where? Exotic bird shopping? To your Tuesday night bowling league?
Woo! That's a turkeys.
Good to go try your luck at bingo.
G32. Bingo!
Good to go to a lumberjack competition.
I'm gonna move my car.
New top-tier Tri-Clean gas from Citgo. The most advanced fuel we've ever made. Now you're good to go.
Ranger fans, when deciding to take a charter bus, there's only one choice. That's Best Trails and Travel, New York City's premier charter bus company. Best Trails and Travel have the highest level of charter bus service in New York City, and they've been serving New York's leading corporations, professional sports teams, and private individuals for 30 years. They offer premier customer service and the newest fleet of buses in the industry. Whether you're traveling with family, friends, or colleagues, Best Trails and Travel guarantees you the ultimate traveling experience. Visit them at besttrailstravel.com or call 212-206-6974.
This is New York Rangers hockey.
Rips a shot and scores! Adam Fox in overtime! And the Rangers win a wild game 6-5.
This is New York Rangers hockey.
Zibanejad back behind the goal line. Centering pass to Trocheck. He scores on the power play. And the Rangers get that goal, Dave. It's 3-1.
This is New York Rangers hockey.
Shot that goes high over Trocheck. Rebound, they score! In the near circle, it's Lafreniere.
New York Rangers hockey starts right now. Now here's Dave Maloney, and with the play-by-play, here's Don LaGreca on the MSG Radio Network.
And welcome to Madison Square Garden, another big Metropolitan Division matchup of the New York Rangers here at home against the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm Don LaGreca with the captain, Dave Maloney. And Dave, a tough 1 point in Ottawa last night. Got to forget about it. Get 2 tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets team that comes in with the same amount of points you have in the standings. That's 68.
Well, the thing is, with the Rangers' last 2 games, as we talked to Dan Grosso in the pregame, you had a lead going into the third period, and you go back a year ago, that was a lockdown. And now a year ago is a year ago. It's not the same story. But again, I think yesterday, but for Shesterkin's play, you're probably not in that position. the Rangers have shown recently to be better defensively than they've shown, particularly yesterday. And you get outshot badly in the third period. You get outplayed badly. You can't find the puck. You can't find men. It has to be a priority to defend. And we talked about the Four Nations, and you get the greatest players in the world. The first thing they do in that composition is defend. So you have to defend. They must be better. Quick will be quick, but he'll be that much better if he gets some help in front of him here this evening.
And the Rangers take on a Columbus Blue Jackets team that's right there in the dogfight, Dave. We've talked about it many times since the passing of Johnny Gaudreau. What an amazing story they have been. They've slowed down just a little since playing the outdoor game last Saturday, but they are getting a lot of players back healthy. Still missing Sean Monahan, but for the most part, they're getting healthy, and they've got a tall task at hand trying to fend off all these other teams in the Eastern Conference as well. So two evenly matched teams, and the Rangers looking for the season sweep. But both games came down to the final nub, right? A 1-0 shootout victory the first time they met, and a come-from-behind victory in Columbus just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, third period come from behind. Jonathan Quick was in goal for that particular night, the win. Will Cooley with a goal and assist in the third period. And I just think that, again, Columbus coming out of that the outdoor spectacle and then have to go down and play Tampa and Florida back-to-back.
Right.
That's asking a lot. Tampa and Florida are arguably for sure two of the top three teams in the East. You throw Washington in the mix. So they are coming off back-to-back losses, but they played hard, and that has been a Dean Everson kind of mandate. He expects his team to play hard. Their makeup is hard. It's going to be a battle here tonight.
All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup for the visiting Columbus Blue Jackets. They'll start the line: Olivier, Jenner, and Johnson. Werenski and Fabro on the blue line. And also their starting goaltender, the one that was in for the shutout the Rangers had 1-0 earlier in the season, Daniil Tarasov. The scratches, number 3, Jack Johnson, number 22, Jordan Harris, number 36, Christian Fisher. For the Rangers, they'll start the line of Kreider, Carrick, and Brett Berard in the lineup tonight, with Vakanainen on the blue line with Schneider. Jonathan Quick between the pipes for the Rangers. Scratching the lineup, number 34, Arthur Kaliev, number 44, Calvin DeHaan, and number 71, Juuso Barssinen, who will be a scratch day for the first time since coming over in the trade with Colorado.
Well, again, he did take one of the penalties in the third period, but that was not a penalty out of omission. It was kind of a hard kind of coming back in the offensive zone. And but again, Berard in the lineup, a little more speed, right? Different position. I think Barssinen is basically a center iceman. Played on the wing a little bit yesterday, but change. Chris Kreider back in the lineup after missing 6 games. You'd like to see him get a little more involved in the play. So lots of stuff here tonight. And this building seems pretty alive here. They were alive as the team came out. So expect the action to be alive.
It is now time of the Rangers officiating crew, brought to you by London Jewelers. The referees for tonight's game, John McIsaac and Jordan Samuels-Thomas, and the linesmen, Kyle Flemington and Brad Kovalchik. That's the Rangers officiating crew, brought to you by London Jewelers. Visit London Jewelers today at any of their 7 locations, including the Americana Mall and the Mall at Short Hills. Just 19 games left in the season, 18 after tonight, as the Rangers battle for playoff position. Let's go down to ice level and PA announcer Joe Tollison.
Tonight's colors are presented by the Clarkstown Police Department. And here to perform the Star-Spangled Banner, please welcome back Grammy Award-winning baritone John Brancy.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glow, the bands bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, John Brancy.
Defending radio left for the Columbus Blue Jackets will be Daniil Tarasov. He is 6-7-2, 2.38 goals against average, 881 save percentage. And for the New York Rangers, it will be Jonathan Quick. He's 9-5-2, 2.92 goals against average, and a 903 save percentage.
When it's game time, 'tis Tully time. The second period puck drop brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. The original triple distilled, triple blended, and cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the all-new Tullamore Dew Honey during tonight's action.
Tarasov was in net when these two teams met at Madison Square Garden. Became the first goaltender ever to have his first National Hockey League shutout come in a loss. And as you mentioned earlier, Dave, very competitive the two games that these two teams played. They'll play next weekend as well to close out the season series.
Yeah, Chris Kreider getting the start here on the left side, and away we go.
And Columbus wins the draw. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday night here at Madison Square Garden. Don LaGreca and Dave Maloney, Columbus Blue Jackets Rangers. Kreider with a backhand to send it down after the Columbus win. Tarasov leaves it back behind the net. It'll be played by Fabro, who will skate up the left wing to the blue line, to the red line. He wrists it down. Wraps around the wall. Played out to the near boards by Olivier, but he can't control it. Schneider tries the far side to clear, goes up a Berard stick and kicks back behind the net of Quick. Vakanainen up the near boards, ends up on the stick of Carrick. He's by himself as he skates into the zone, drags it back behind the goal line as he wrestles with Werenski to the right of Tarasov. Squirts back up to the near boards where it's controlled by Fabro, finds Olivier, who pitchforks it back out to center ice. Borgen on his horse, sends it back out of the zone. Fantilli can't keep it in. Marchenko will come in at left wing, has some room at the circle, wrists the shot and off the post. It goes and out of play.
Again, the Rangers get caught right in front of their bench as Carrick's going off, and you know that they're going to be overly cautious about coming on. And what happened is Marchenko then has just a little more room to pick up the puck in the neutral zone. He goes in and wires it off the post, face off to the right of Jonathan Quick.
Zibanejad wins the face-off against Fantilli. DeAndre Miller sends it out to JT Miller, who finds Zibanejad. Zibanejad at right wing, looking for Cooley, goes off his skating wide. Cooley plays it in the near corner on his forehand. That goes off a stick where it'll be played by Provorov, the former Flyer, off the backhand, off the glass, and down. This will be an icing on Columbus, and a face-off comes back into the Columbus end. 18:46 to go in a scoreless first.
Well, the Rangers here rotating bodies quickly into this game. You know, you come off a 12:30 start yesterday. Team was home in good time last evening. It wasn't a late night. Getting everybody involved here early. Love the fact that Cooley drives the net right off the first shift, and Zibanejad throws the puck there.
Rangers wearing their third alternate jerseys with the crest and the darker blue. DeAndre Miller back behind the net, goes off of Lafreniere. Marchenko's going to skate it back out himself. But left wing, hits the red line, backhands it off the half wall, trying to get his own pass, but he's held up enough for Lafreniere to Trocheck go back behind the net to get it. Comes up ice, does Trocheck up the middle, flips it off the red line, bounces off a stick, but it's collected by Panarin. Panarin to the near circle. Panarin on his backhand, centers a pass to Trocheck, but he couldn't reach it, and Danforth is going to get it, knock it down. Danforth held up enough there, back behind the net by Soucy. Danforth gets it back at the far wing, sends it back up top for Fabro. The play looked like it was offside, doesn't matter as it's knocked out of the air by Soucy. Comes to the near circle. Soucy to the hash marks, drags back behind the end boards into the corner, where he's knocked into the glass to the near boards by Fabro. Still fighting for possession of the puck. All to the right of the Columbus goaltender. Chinakhov trying to fish it out as well. Rempe's big body pinning up against the wall. Still no whistle. Still not moving at all to the right of the net. About 5 feet from the trapezoid. Fans getting a little impatient as finally the puck loosens up just enough for Rempe to put it back behind the net, but Werenski comes, cuts it off, and then flips it back out to center. Cunnin tried to glove it down, couldn't control it. Rangers in transition now. Here's Othman near circle, wrists the shot that goes off of Fabro and into the far corner. Race for possession, Othman there. Rempe's going to spin it around the near wall. Waiting for it is Vakanainen, puts it back where it came for Rempe. Rempe comes out the far side. He's on his backhand. Leaves it back for Schneider, who pinches back behind the net. Schneider tries to tuck it to the near side. Tarasov with the save. Vakanainen swings it around the boards. Rempe gets there to keep it in. Send it up into the air where Othman will play it in the slot. Out to Brodzinski with a spinning shot that goes wide. Othman back to Vakanainen, back behind the net for Rempe. Rempe in the trapezoid. Fans loving the Rangers buzz here to the nearest circle. Rempe gets it back out to the point for Schneider. Schneider flips a shot on that goes wide. Played by Rempe to the near circle. Rempe gets to the top of the near circle, now the blue line. Leaves it back for Schneider with a wrist shot. Doesn't get through. Maybe off the pad of Tarasov and then back out to center where Columbus can flip it back out as the fans show their appreciation for the pressure.
Yeah, really good shift. I think that puck went in the body of Danforth or Corrali and Chris Kreider in front of the Columbus net. Good shift from the Rangers, though.
DeAndre Miller on his horse, cuts off Johnson. Borgen up the wall, but he had a bit of a rubber stick. Spinning is Boone Jenner, puts it to Johnson. Borgen wrestles with him, goes to the far boards where it's spun back to the near side, but Boone Jenner couldn't get it back out in front. Played by Provorov, back behind the net. Van Riemsdyk up the wall for Jenner. Jenner had it poked off a stick by Carrick, and now the Rangers can wrestle back up. Kreider cross-ice pass goes to Berard. Couldn't handle the pass, and it causes an offside, and we get a whistle with 15:50 to go in a scoreless first.
Yeah, well, listen, the first little episode in the defensive zone, the Rangers do a nice job keeping the puck away from the net. A wraparound attempt by Braden Schneider. Aggressive play off the right boards. Face off here as a result of the offside. So our side of Madison Square Garden here on Columbus's side of the center ice line.
You're right about the energy in the Garden, Dave. You can really feel it here late in the season, March. Weather warming up a bit. 6 o'clock start. Goes back behind the net. Panarin looking for somebody to pass to, flips into the corner. Trocheck wiped out, so the first to get there will be Severson, who clears it back out to center. Lafreniere backs up to his own blue line, stripped by Johnson, throws to a vacant point. Reaching for it is Christensen, finds Olivier with a backhand, and it's saved by Quick. Vakanainen grabs the rebound, up the wall they go. Schneider exits, finds Lafreniere at left wing. Hits the red line, feathers it down. Goes all the way down for Christensen at the edge of the trapezoid, pokes it to Severson. Stripped of the puck, Lafreniere with it on his backhand, up the near wall to Keandre Miller, slides a pass out to Borgen. Borgen flips it on, it goes wide, comes out to Keandre Miller, who pinches the keep. Around Olivier, but it'll be swooped up by Christensen, it'll skate to the right side. Brings it into the zone, just fires it around the boards. Voronkov waits for it, Lafreniere in front of him. Coming as Marchenko backs up to the blue line. His pass to Werenski is picked off by Borgen on a second attempt on his backhand, finally clears. Panarin finds Zibanejad at the right side. Zibanejad with a shot. Tarasov with a save and kicks it to the far corner. Zibanejad tries to center. Marchenkov gets in the way of the pass. JT Miller trying to swoop in to get it, but it's Werenski who backhands it to Varlamov and then back out to center ice. Borgen sends the Rangers back into the Columbus end, but it'll be centered back out by Columbus, and the Rangers now can transition with Cooley at the near wing. Wraps it around the wall. Marchenko's going to be the first to get there. He's on his forehand and centers it back out to the near wall, replayed by the Rangers at the blue line and kept by Cooley, but his centering pass is picked off by Werenski, and now Columbus on a 3-on-3. Danforth leaves it for Werenski, makes a move, wrists the shot, deflected by Danforth and in, and Columbus takes the 1-0 lead.
I'll tell you, this is an all-world move by Werenski. The Rangers are in pretty good position as Soucy goes to kind of reach, he commits, and Werenski pulls it around him. Heading to the net is Danforth, and an easy tap in. So that's just a terrific play by Werenski. Now, you'd like to see Soucy be a little more patient. They come through the middle of the ice. Werenski kind of started the play in the defensive zone, and he pulls the puck around Soucy, and on the second shot by the Columbus Blue Jackets, the visiting Columbus has a 1-0 lead.
Danforth gets his 7th of the year, David. 5:56. Werenski gets the assist. We saw him shine in the Four Nations. Now it's taken by Cunnin. He centers on a backhand by Chenikov, and it went wide. Rempe sends the Rangers out. Brodzinski, partial breakaway. Provorov fires a shot and a save and goes back out to the near point. Soucy trying to get it deeper. Dangles the blue line. Danforth then fists it back out to center ice. Chinnikov sends it on net, steered aside by Quick in the corner. Chinnikov leaned on by Jones. Rempe there as well, all to the right of the Ranger net. Brodzinski comes in for support, slides back out to the point where it's held in. Danforth plays it back behind the net. He's on his backhand near circle, sends it back up to Provorov, makes a move at the dot. Below the circle, sharp angle shot goes off the side of the net. Provorov still with it, spins to the far circle, wrists the shot, shoulder saved by Quick, and he gobbles up the rebound and gets the whistle.
Susi had broken his stick. It's the left-handed shot. He got the right-handed stick from Brodzinski. In the meantime, boy, Chinnikov came that close to making this a 2-0 game here on the shift after the Rangers give up a goal. You're listening to New York Rangers hockey on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network.
Hey everyone, ready to level up your game time? Check out Chumba Casino. Non-stop fun and totally free to join. Enjoy online social casino games with new games added regularly. Play for your chance to win serious prizes and claim your daily login bonus. Whether you're at home or on the move, jump in and start playing today at ChumbaCasino.com. Available only to players in the U.S., excluding Washington, Michigan, Montana, Connecticut, and Nevada, and Canada, excluding Quebec. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
When your team's best players have all been traded and the latest pick is overrated, just raise a glass with a friend or two and tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do. May your team be great and your picks be true, and if it falls apart, you'll know what to do. Just raise a glass with a fan or two and tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do. It's a crazy world, so what do? You tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do. Hey!
Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc.
Now's the time for a great deal on a new Honda. It's time to take an adventure with rugged capability and commanding style. It's time for powerful performance, plus plenty of room inside. Start your journey in a brand new vehicle. Check out the Honda Ridgeline, Pilot, or CR-V.
Contact your local Honda dealer for a great deal today.
See dealer for financing details.
Time of the goal is driven by Ramsey Mazda. Comes at 5:56. Danforth 7 for Marinsky to give Columbus the 1-0 lead. Time of the goal is driven by Ramsey Mazda. It's the experience of driving a new Mazda and buying a new Mazda from Ramsey Mazda. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda. 13:18 to go in the first period. Both teams with 4 shots on goal, but Columbus has the 1-0 lead.
Well, I'll tell you, it was just a brilliant move by Werenski. I'd still like to see the Ranger defenseman be just a little more patient. He got suckered in to try, it's that puck pressure, right? And again, Werenski much wiser, and he stakes Columbus to a 1-0 lead.
Carrick wins the defensive faceoff. Schneider up the far wall. Outlet pass goes to Kreider. Bounces off his stick, gathers, and finds a breaking Berard with a wrist shot. And Tarasov with the save, and he holds on.
A pretty good job here off a faceoff win by Braden Schneider. Kreider flies the zone, right? Kreider has a little difficulty handling the puck, but that probably allowed Berard a little more time to be a support, an outlet. So, shot on goal by the youngster. Brett Berard back in the lineup after a healthy scratch yesterday afternoon. Parsonen, a healthy scratch from the Rangers' standpoint today. Recently acquired.
Trocheck line hops on to go up against Columbus's 4th line of Corrali. Severson off the draw win by Columbus to Van Riemsdyk. Can't get it deep thanks to Vakanainen. Lafreniere trying to fish it back out. Severson is there. Van Riemsdyk, Corrali. It's Trocheck that comes out, spins it back into his own end for Schneider. Backs up, gets around Austin Reese. Vakanainen will bring it into the zone. Vakanainen surrounded by Blue Jackets, goes to the far wall, spins to his forehand, and then puts it back behind the net. Lafreniere can't get there in time. Austin Reese is going to come back out, passes out to Corrali. Corrali with Christensen, finds Christensen at the far wing. Sharp angle shot goes off the side of the net. Van Riemsdyk tries the short side. It doesn't go, and then Lafreniere on the bouncing puck has tried to get an outlet pass over to Panarin, but it's picked off by Severson. Columbus is offside, and we'll get a whistle.
Yeah, again, Panarin had flown the zone, and it's interesting. You watch Panarin on the coming back. I know he's got goals 4 straight, right? He's got 7 points in his last 4. There's no question he's offensively, but you watch him come back hard. And then he loses, he loses Van Riemsdyk. So Van Riemsdyk's now available. It comes off the boards. He has a chip towards the net. Face off in front of the Ranger bench here. 12:23 left, opening period.
Carrick wins it again. Rangers won over 70% of the faceoffs here early on. Pass to Berard, hops over a stick and down. That'll avoid the icing. Tarasov to Provorov, who will come out the far side. Provorov to the blue line, passes up the wall. As Johnson looks for Olivier, he swings a shot that's sticked aside by Quick as he spun from the far boards. Olivier gets it back, taps the pass over to Jenner, back behind the net. But waiting for it is Carrick, finds Berard. Berard off the half wall and out. Kreider catches up into the red line. Nice pass to Carrick. Carrick gets the room at the far wing, stops, tries to slide it past Provorov. Provorov says no, knocks it back out of the zone for Johnson, but he's pickpocketed by Cooley. Bouncing puck ends up in the neutral zone, and Vakanainen will send it the rest of the way so the Rangers can change. Tarasov couldn't hold on to it. Matejchuk is pinned to the near corners by Cooley. Coming back out with it is Marchenko. Doesn't have an angle to exit the zone, so he puts it back behind the net for Provorov. Is pestered by JT Miller. But it goes through Schneider and down. Race for the puck. Vakanainen will get there first, so Columbus tagged with the icing. Faceoff comes back into their end with 11:21 to go. 1-0 Columbus.
Again, territorially, I think you had to kind of observe that the Rangers have been up ice more than they've been in their own end. And yet, the shots favor the Rangers 5-4. The goal, the scoreboard favors Columbus 1-0. Face-off to the right of the Columbus netminder.
JT Miller's line's on the ice. Fantilli for Columbus. Fantilli wins the face-off. Provorov back line it up the far wall. Kept by Borgen. JT Miller flips it to the far boards, but it'll be intercepted, sent back out by Matejchuk, who sends it off to the near corner. Fantilli shields off a check, leaves for Marchenko. Marchenko can't center thanks to JT Miller. Slides of the near boards for Cooley. Cooley chips it out of the zone for a racing Zibanejad. But Werenski gets there first and sends it down. Quick back behind his net to Keandre Miller. Back behind the cage again. Miller near boards will send it back out for Othman. Hits the red line, taps it in. First to get there is Werenski off the glass and back out. Rangers have to quickly tag back up, which they do. Keandre Miller slides it down. Tarasov leaves it for Werenski. Fabro flips it back out to center. Bouncing puck ends up on the stick of Jones. Reach for it, bounced over his stick. He's got a support. Chinikov's there, and Jones does a good job to nick it to the near corner. Centering pass goes back out to the far boards. Werenski backs up to the blue line, to the slot. Fabro flips one on, deflects off of Chinikov for Jones. Jones to Othman, who pokes it back out to center ice. Rempe bats it out of the air, but it still ends up on the puck of Columbus, and it's fired back down. Ends up in front of the net where Zach Jones swoops in and sends the Rangers out right to left as we approach 10 minutes to go in the first period. 1-0 Columbus. Alexei Lafreniere flips it down. Werenski races for the puck. He's got Panarin all over. Gets it to Fabro at the near corner. Fabro with an outlet pass hits the stick of Van Riemsdyk, allowing the Rangers to turn it back over into their own end. Schneider, Vakanainen to Panarin. Panarin at left wing, backhands it down. Provorov on his backhand up the near wall. Vakanainen keeps. Deflection by Lafreniere goes wide. Provorov reaches, uses the far wall, goes through Schneider and back out to center, where it was played by Trocheck. Spins at the red line, taps the pass to Lafreniere. He can't get it deep thanks to the reach of Olivier, and that allows Columbus to drag it back into their own end so they can make changes.
The Rangers are moving the puck pretty well, just can't get anything towards the net.
Matejchuk bounces a pass over to Olivier, can't get around Carrick. Tried to get the puck to Johnson, who's surrounded by Rangers, including Soucy. Kreider doesn't have an exit strategy, so he puts it back behind the net for Vakanainen. Berard can't get it around Severson. Pinned to the far corner. Olivier up against the boards with Vakanainen, all to the right of Jonathan Quick with under 9 to play in the first period. A lot of battles in the boards, Dave, as the puck not moving, still there to the far corner. Boone Jenner puts it up to Johnson. Johnson climbs to the blue line on his backhand, sends it down to the near circle, but Olivier can't play it. Berard can't bring it out of the zone as it's poke checked away by Jenner. Soucy trying to get around Johnson. Now finally settled down by Berard. Used the near glass to clear to the point. Now finally out of the zone. Kreider batters with Jenner as it slides back into the Rangers' end. Here's Johnson on a backhand. Centering pass goes off of Keandre Miller. Miller gets it back up the far wall. And now Berard can skate it back out. Brett Berard to the red line. He's got a backhand it down, and he hit the open door of the Columbus bench, and he's down. Now bodies coming together in front of the Blue Jackets bench as Berard's still on both knees.
Yeah, no, it's Johnson, the youngster. It just coincidentally, the Columbus bench door was open. And it's just kind of a bang-bang play. And it looks like Columbus is going to get a penalty. Wow.
Let's hear.
Columbus 91, 2 minutes for interference.
So the Rangers will go on the power play. Rangers hockey on ESPN New York is brought to you by your local Honda dealers. So when we come back, the Rangers will get the first special teams opportunity of the game. New York Rangers hockey on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network continues after this timeout.
To win the cup, everything needs to line up perfectly. No different than finding the person you want to marry. When the time comes to propose, well, do what I did. Visit the engagement experts at London Jewelers. They'll make shopping for a ring easy. Let them help you pick or design the perfect ring to fit any budget from their 2 by London collection. London Jewelers is committed to getting it just right. So visit London Jewelers today at any of their 6 locations, including Americana Manhasset and the mall at Short Hills. Mention I told you to stop by. You'll get the Michael K. treatment.
Yeah, it's another day, but what kind of day is it really? A day of doom scrolling? Laundry day? Nah, it's a White Claw day. Light and refreshing tasting, uniquely cold way filtered. There's an iconic flavor for everyone. So grab a pack, grab your friends. Make the most of each day with those who matter most. When you're together with White Claw, every day is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You just gotta grab it. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
Hey everyone, Adnan and Verkin are talking about our great podcast, NHL Unscripted with Verkin Demers.
Jason Demers here. After playing 700 NHL games, it turns out I have an opinion or two. Whoever's saying trade one of them, you don't know anything about hockey. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm rooting for this team. With new guests every week, we will talk about hockey and more.
Can't wait till you watch this movie because it's the biggest award of her career.
He went into the cheetah exhibit, and the cheetah took a piece out of him, and he came into the ring the next day.
Tune in to NHL Unscripted with Verkin Demers, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Rangers hockey on ESPN New York is brought to you by your local Honda dealers. Contact your local Honda dealer for a great deal today. Johnson for interference at 11:46, so the Rangers go on their first power play. Power play that struggled, Dave, just 1 for their last 17. Meanwhile, the Blue Jackets' kill has given up 5 goals in the last 4 games.
Well, again, you're playing against Tampa and you're playing against Florida. And now the Rangers power play. Glad to see Chris Kreider back on the first rotation. So he's out there instead of Vincent Trocheck. You got Jones on the point. 4 forwards. Rangers doing a pretty good job in the face-offs here.
Now they win this face-off. Rangers down 1-0, 8 minutes to go in the first period. Panarin, near circle, creeps up to the dot. Sends it back to Jones straight away. Jones with a wrist shot that goes wide. Panarin, near circle. Back out to Jones at the blue line. Surveys the landscape with 15 seconds gone on the power play. Panarin with a one-timer deflected by Kreider. Rebound by Kreider and a save. Collected by Corrali, who then finds Werenski in a one-on-one with Jones. Werenski. Corrali joins the party. Werenski with a shot that goes over the net. Now the Rangers can transition with Panarin. Here comes Panarin to the near circle. Panarin, cross-ice pass. Zibanejad pass goes off a skate to Jones with a shot over the net. Corrali taps pass back over to the near boards for Danforth. As he's falling down, whips it all the way down.
Why in the world doesn't Mika Zibanejad shoot that puck? He's on the right side, a right-handed shot, opts to try and pass it to the back of the net.
Approaching a minute to go on the Rangers power play. JT Miller for Kreider. Kreider back to Miller, but it's intercepted by Danforth and he clears. Now the Rangers will send their second unit out with 55 seconds to go on the power play. We approach 7 minutes to go in the first period. Still 1-0 Columbus with the lead. Alexei Lafreniere with speed, puts it into the far corner. Olivier the first to get there. Cooley has it go off his skate, bounces to Cunnin, clears it to Miller, who can't keep it in, so the Rangers have to tag back up. 30 seconds to go on their power play. Trocheck sends it down. Tarasov in the trapezoid, up the far glass. Played by Olivier in his backhand. Miller can't keep, and the Rangers got to go back to their own end and get it. 20 seconds to go on the power play. Columbus changes their killers. Keandre Miller. Crest of center ice, makes a move to left wing, off the half board, trying to get his own pass. Elijah Werenski, Cooley there as well. Slides up the near boards, and Fantilli's going to skate it back out. Spins, finds Marchenko. Marchenko, his drop pass is intercepted by Trocheck, but time's going to ebb away here on the power play. Rangers 0 for 1 with the man advantage. It stays 1-0 Columbus as we approach 6 minutes to go in the first. DeAndre Miller drops it back off for Schneider, who sends it back out to center. Pass goes too far for Carrick. And here comes Columbus. Fantilli. He's got Schneider to deal with. Cuts in front of the net. Schneider does a good job to drive him back behind the cage. Centering pass is intercepted by Rempe. Rempe gets around Severson. Columbus able to clear it back out with Schneider, who quickly transitions to Vakanainen. Passes to the near boards and Hoffman flips to Rempe, but it goes over his stick, so Christensen in front of his zone net, off the glass and out of the zone. Carrick clubs it down, stripped of the puck by Jenner, but Schneider there for support from his own blue line, wrists it down, but it'll come at the expense of icing, so a faceoff come back down to Jonathan Quick with 5:32 to go in the first period. Still 1-0 Blue Jackets.
Well, again, this will come back down to the Rangers' end of the ice, but the one chance off the left point by Panarin, he tries to find Kreider on kind of a deep for a deflection opportunity, but the Rangers power play 0 for 19 his last 6 games. Or 1 for 19, I'm sorry.
Provorov's shot gets deflected wide. Comes back to him at the near boards, but hops over the stick of Chinnikov. Carrick with an outlet pass through Rempe, so he misses it, and then it's another icing that comes back down to Quick.
The Rangers 7 shots on goal. Columbus with 4. 5:18 left opening period. Columbus with a 1-0 lead. Justin Danforth, his 7th on the season at 5:56. Zach Werenski with his 47th assist. Columbus has the 1-0 lead.
Rangers control the faceoff. Schneider up the far glass. Werenski kept it in with his skate, but only momentarily. Othman catches up with it at the Ranger logo and backs up into his own end. Drops it off of Vakanainen back to Schneider at the far wing. Trocheck digs a little deeper into his own end to avoid Jenner. Schneider back to Trocheck. Now Trocheck with some room finds Vakanainen. Now the Rangers can escape the zone. Cross the red line, wrist it down. Tarasov can't play it. In comes Trocheck back behind the net. Through Panarin, back out to the near point for Soucy. He's slinging off the end boards, looking for a hop. Goes off a Lafreniere to Panarin up the near wall. Getting in the way of the pass, though, and flipped off the wall and down is Aston Reese. So the Rangers go back to their own end to get it with Soucy. Panarin's pass deflects off of the stick of Van Riemsdyk and cleared back to center. Soucy goes back to his own end to get it with under 4.5 to play in the first. Panarin chips at it, trying to get around Corrali. Can't. Corrali's centering pass goes all the way through to the far boards and Berard, who finds Soucy, and out the Rangers come. Tap pass by Carrick, trying to get Panarin's picked off and sent back out to center ice. Off the wall, Aston Reese, and down. No icing, so Soucy plays it to the near boards, and Berard goes off of his skate, but there for supports Vakanainen. Finds Kreider at the far wing. Here comes Chris Kreider with a move. Gets it back in the high slot. Dangles the blue line. Keeps it in. Spins in the far circle. Wrist shot deflects one. Olivier off the half wall and out. Here comes Corrali, but he's picked off by Kreider. Does a good job hustling back defensively. Finds Vakanainen. Out the puck goes to center ice.
Great job by Chris Kreider.
And the fans appreciate it as Olivier back in his own end as we approach 3.5 to go in the first period. Columbus with the 1-0 lead. Provorov. Matejchuk on his backhand avoids the icing by hitting the red line and sends it down. Schneider up the far boards. Vakanainen. Cross ice pass to JT Miller. Steers it all the way down to avoid the icing. Matejchuk hit into the boards by JT Miller, but Danforth still able to clear it back out. Voronkov, far wall. Cunnin sends it down so he can get off the ice. Keandre Miller back behind the net. Slings it to the near corner. Danforth was in the way of the pass. Bounces in the air for JT Miller. Can't exit, so he finds Keandre, who gets it to Borgen at the far ice, and Rangers can now escape the zone. JT Miller reaching for it, but it's taken away by Marchenko, and that creates a hand pass and a whistle with 2:53 to go in the first period. The Columbus Blue Jackets with a 1-0 lead. New York Rangers hockey on ESPN New York and the ISG Radio Network continues after this timeout.
Attention Rangers fans, let's talk winning off the ice. ThriveWell Infusion specializes in delivering cutting-edge infusion therapies for rare diseases and autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and multiple sclerosis. At ThriveWell, patients receive care, comfort, convenience, and compassion so they can get back to cheering for their favorite teams. From New York to New Jersey and across Long Island, ThriveWell offers private state-of-the-art infusion suites along with breakaway treatment from our highly trained medical team. Find out more at ThriveWellInfusion.com. That's ThriveWellInfusion.com. Saving lives drip by drip.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
What key is tonight going to be played in? Well, that's entirely up to you and your spirit. Over here at Wild Turkey, we're opting for something that rings true and can reverberate for ages. A little 101. Wild Turkey 101 has been pleasing crowds for decades with its iconic rich flavor. Crafted with generations of know-how and the finest ingredients. Wild Turkey. Trust your spirit.
Copyright 2024 Campari America, New York, New York. Never compromise. Drink responsibly.
He said it's a perfect time to replace your old boiler with a new Peerless boiler. Don't wait until you have no heat. Go to peerlessboilers.com for a dealer near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. 2:53 to go in the first period. Columbus with a 1-0 lead on the Rangers.
Yeah, the Rangers have done a pretty good job. Haven't spent an awful lot of time in their own end. The puck movement seems to be pretty good, but really don't have a whole lot of offensive opportunities to show for the amount of time they've had the puck. Yeah, you certainly have to acknowledge what Columbus has been able to do.
Rangers win the faceoff. They've done that well over 60%. Werenski, who made the play on a Danforth goal, pokes it to Voronkov up the far wall for Marchenko, sends them out. Here comes Werenski at left wing, brings it into the Rangers' end, risks the shot that goes wide. Momentum takes it to the near boards with JT Miller, taps it over to Cooley, who flips it down. Racing for the puck with Marchenko, back behind the net of Tarasov. JT Miller pokes it into the corner for Zibanejad, up the far wall, but it's cut off by Fantilli. Voronkov back to Fantilli at left wing. He risked one that bounces wide. Centering pass by Werenski and a save by Quick. Keandre Miller on his backhand, now forehand, content to just put it back behind his net.
Boy, I'll tell you, Werenski has no problem supporting the rush, leading the rush. He skates so well, he gets back decently. He's the most dangerous player on the ice.
Panarin risks it around the boards with under 2 to play. Johnson, backhand goes off a Lafreniere. Back out to the point where Jenner has it. Slides a pass out to the far boards. Mortechuk, though, is offside, so 1:43 to go. The faceoff will come just outside the Rangers' end. Rangers out shooting Columbus 7-4.
Yeah, there hasn't been an awful lot of puck put on either net here in the last 7-8 minutes. Shots played stayed pretty stagnant here at 7-4 in favor of the Rangers. This faceoff is in front of the Ranger bench to the far side of the building from our position here. On the Rangers' side, of course, of the red line. Check in the middle with Marchenko.
Columbus controls this face-off. Provorov across the red line, off the glass and down. Quick out of his crease, back of the trapezoid to clear, but not out. Jenner battles with Soucy. Olivier near corner. Trocheck on top of him. Olivier trying to stick handle edge of the trapezoid up the near boards for Lafreniere, is able to slide it back out to center. Matejchuk all the way down. Rangers play it back with Jones to Soucy. 1:10 to go in the period. Columbus finishing up a change. Trocheck fired a pass that went off a stick into the Columbus bench, and we get a whistle with a $1:04 to go in the period. 1-0 Columbus.
Now again, Soucy gets the puck right, and instead of moving those feet right away, kind of slows things down. Now again, the Rangers were in a change, so in defense there was not a whole lot of outlet for him.
Face off one again by Columbus. Flipped into the air as Danforth backhands it, but they say a hand pass, so we get a whistle with 58.5 to go. Peter Laviolette was very complimentary this morning, or this afternoon, Dave, on the play of Carson Soucy in his first game as a Ranger yesterday. Scored a goal, said he almost had another one.
I'm telling you, I still think the Hahn's better with the puck, smarter with the puck.
The Hahn healthy stretch again tonight. Werenski sends it down quick. Schneider far corner, flip to Rempe, backhands it out of the zone for Hoffman. Hoffman hits the red line, wrists it down. Tarasov in the trapezoid, passes back to the near boards for Fabro, who sends it down, but it's going to be an icing on Columbus, so a late period face-off in the offensive zone for the Rangers with 33.7 to go.
I think you can make the case in this first period the most effective line for the Rangers has been Brodzinski, Rempe, and Hoffman. Now they played with pace. They've been on top of Columbus in the offensive zone. Face-off here to the left of the gigantic Tarasov, netminder of Columbus.
Scrum for possession of the faceoff. The Rangers win it. Lafreniere straight away. Wrist shot deflected. Score! And the Rangers tie the game up at 1 on a deflection right in front of the net. And Artemi Panarin, for the 5th consecutive game, scores a goal to tie it at 1.
Well, again, Rimpey and the Brodzinski line draw the icing, right? And you come back with a face-off win, and the puck gets thrown in the net. Now, Lafreniere had a little difficulty with the puck. He finally corrals the puck and gets it towards the net, right? So it's going to be Panarin from Lafreniere and Trocheck off a face-off win. And the Rangers have tied this puppy up. 5 games in a row now for Artemi Panarin with a goal. That's a big goal. A big goal at the end of the first period here for the Rangers.
19:31 at the time of the goal for Panarin, his 28th of the season.
It's going to be a penalty here, too. Manischuk is going to get one for interference on Brett Berard off the faceoff. So the Rangers will go back on the power play here with 21.2 seconds left. As the youngster.
Columbus penalty number 5, 2 minutes for interference.
Could have been cross-checked. They called it an interference.
So Matejka.
Not a good penalty for the youngster to take late in the first period after just giving up a goal. Brett Berard, he drew the first penalty by getting rammed into the boards. He draws this one by getting drilled from behind. Boy, that could have been easily a cross-check. Easily.
19:38 is the time of the penalty. Rangers go on their second power play. They're 0 for 1. Win the draw clean, but it's a false start. They're going to have to put more time back on the clock. So Rangers power play struggling, 1 for its last 18, gets a chance to go on it. And a little thing, right? An icing late in the period. They win the face-off. They get a goal, and now a power play. So how things can change here late in the period in a positive way for the Rangers. Off the face-off, won by Miller. Here's Panarin straight away. Rips a shot and a save by Tarasov. Werenski can't clear, tries the near side, held in by Jones. Slides a pass. All the way on, and a pad save by Tarasov off the shot from Panarin. Cleared all the way down on the quick with 5 seconds. And that'll pretty much do it for the period. The Rangers will go into the dressing room, Dave, in a 1-1 tie, and a minute 39 seconds of power play time to start the second.
Wow, it's amazing what that late goal does, too. The crowd finishes on a high. You're right, a couple of good opportunities off face-off wins. And then Panarin deflects it in. So, all in all, it's a pretty good Ranger period, despite the fact they had to chase a 1-0 score. Zach Werenski, the most dangerous player, I think, on the ice in both teams, set up Columbus's first goal, and the Rangers, off a late first period face-off win, tie it up here with Artemi Panarin, his 28th of the season, 5th game in a row with a goal.
From Lafreniere and Trocheck, and it came in 1951 to tie the game. Rangers Hockey on ESPN New York is brought to you by your local Honda dealers. Dan Grassa is going to take you through the first intermission. He'll recap the period, go around the National Hockey League, and then we'll drop the puck for the second here at Madison Square Garden, where the Rangers and the Blue Jackets are tied at 1 after 1. You're listening to Rangers Hockey on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network.
Tito's handmade vodka on game day? Pour me in, coach. From a seat in the stands to the best seat on the couch, root for your favorite team with your favorite team spirit. No matter who's on your roster, lineup, or lucky jersey, make Tito's your first round bottle pick. Whose house? Tito's house. Find cocktail recipes for every fan at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Peerless Boilers, the world's best-built boilers, are here to help you with your heat and water heating needs. Hockey season is the perfect time to replace the inefficient beast in your basement. Peerless Boilers are the perfect match for homes, apartments, commercial buildings, you name it. And with a 96% efficient Peerless Boiler, you get all the heat you need and save on all of your energy bills all year long. Learn more about the Peerless Boiler family of products. To find a local installer near you, visit PeerlessBoilers.com. And remember, Peerless Boilers, the world's best-built boilers. Ranger fans, when deciding to take a charter bus, there's only one choice. That's Best Trails and Travel, New York City's premier charter bus company. Best Trails and Travel have the highest level of charter bus service in New York City, and they've been serving New York's leading corporations, professional sports teams, and private individuals for 30 years. They offer premier customer service and the newest fleet of buses in the industry. Whether you're traveling with family, friends, or colleagues, Best Trails and Travel guarantees you the ultimate traveling experience. Visit them at besttrailstravel.com or call 212-206-6974.
Tito's handmade vodka on game day? Pour me in, coach. From a seat in the stands to the best seat on the couch, root for your favorite team with your favorite team spirit. No matter who's on your roster, lineup, or lucky jersey, make Tito's your first round bottle pick. Whose house? Tito's house. Find cocktail recipes for every fan at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
This is your local Tri-Honda dealer's New York Rangers Intermission Report. Now, here's Dan Grassa on the MSG Radio Network.
And we welcome you into the Rangers First Intermission Report. It's brought to you by your local Honda dealers. Contact your local Honda dealer for a great deal today. Dan Grassa with you. One period in the books at Madison Square Garden. And we are all even at one apiece between the New York Rangers and the Columbus Blue Jackets. The visitors getting on the scoreboard first. Justin Danforth, his 7th of the season at 5:56 of the opening period from Zach Werenski. The 38th time the Columbus Blue Jackets have scored first in a game this season. That is the second highest frequency in the National Hockey League. Got a nice feed there from Werenski. Danforth able to get the tap in past Jonathan Quick, his second goal in 4 games. But before the period would expire, the Rangers would find a way to draw even. And this Rangers top shelf performance is brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. And someone who's had the hot hand when it comes to goal scoring of late found a way to get the equalizer.
Scrum for possession of the faceoff. The Rangers win it. Lafreniere straight away. Wrist shot deflected. Score! And the Rangers tie the game up at 1 on a deflection right in front of the net. And Artemi Panarin, for the 5th consecutive game, scores a goal to tie it at 1.
Darn right it is, a 5-game goal streak, and that was your Rangers top shelf performance, brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. Known for great vodka, giving back, and doing good for dogs. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Inc., Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Distilled from corn. Copyright 2025. Crafted to be savored responsibly. Lafreniere and Trocheck getting the assists on the Panarin goal at 19:31 to even things up at 1 apiece. And the Blue Shirts getting their second power play opportunity as well before the first period would expire. Denton Matichuk called for interference at 19:38, so the Rangers already 0 for 1 with the man advantage. We'll have 1 minute and 38 seconds of power play time carrying over to begin the second period. Still more for us to do here on the New York Rangers Intermission Report. When we return, check out the out-of-town scoreboard on a busy Sunday around the National Hockey League. And New York Rangers hockey on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network continues right after this timeout.
Ranger fans, when deciding to take a charter bus, there's only one choice. That's Best Trails and Travel, New York City's premier charter bus company. Best Trails and Travel have the highest level of charter bus service in New York City, and they've been serving New York's leading corporations, professional sports teams, and private individuals for 30 years. They offer premier customer service and the newest fleet of buses in the industry. Whether you're traveling with family, friends, or colleagues, Best Trails and Travel guarantees you the ultimate traveling experience. Visit them at besttrailstravel.com or call 212-206-6974.
New York Presbyterian gives you the healthcare choices you want, like over 450 locations in Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, and Westchester. Virtual care that lets you connect with us digitally. World-class doctors from Columbia and Weill Cornell Medicine, and Health Matters, an online source for the latest health and wellness topics and tips. Experience extraordinary healthcare when and where you need it. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian. Restrictions apply.
You want to get the most for your money. That's why more Mazda buyers choose Ramsey Mazda. Lease a new 2025 Mazda CX-5 all-wheel drive, just $229 a month, or buy and get 0.9% APR financing for 36 months. Start shopping now at RamseyMazda.com or at Ramsey Mazda, Route 17 North in Ramsey. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda. Call 833-853-2970 for details. Excludes tax, title, and registration. Zero security deposit. VIN S0555242. MSRP $29,990. Ends 3/31/25.
What's up, New York Rangers fans? Enjoying the game should be easy, so don't overthink it. What to wear? Done. Just toss on your lucky jersey. Don't know what to serve your friends? Easy. Pick up some pizza from your go-to and grab some Bud Light to stock your fridge. See, it's that easy. Just like Bud Light, which is always brewed with 4 simple ingredients for a clean, crisp taste. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
With the enhanced engine performance and fuel economy of newly reformulated Tri-Clean gas from Citgo, you're good to go. But good to go where? Exotic bird shopping? To your Tuesday night bowling league?
Woo! That's a turkey, turkeys.
Good to go try your luck at bingo.
G32. Bingo!
Good to go to a lumberjack competition.
I'm gonna move my car.
New top-tier Tri-Clean gas from Citgo. The most advanced fuel we've ever made. Now you're good to go.
Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers, are here to help you with your heat and water heating needs. Hockey season is the perfect time to replace the inefficient beast in your basement. Peerless Boilers are the perfect match for homes, apartments, commercial buildings, you name it. And with a 96% efficient Peerless Boiler, you get all the heat you need and save on all of your energy bills all year long. Learn more about the Peerless Boiler family of products. To find a local installer near you, visit peerlessboilers.com. And remember, Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers.
Dan Grasso back in the Tri-Honda Dealers New York Rangers first intermission report. 1-1 is our score at the end of 20 minutes. The Blue Jackets and the Rangers. Justin Danforth, his 7th at 5:56. Rangers even things up. Artemi Panarin is 28th of the season. Goals in 5 straight for the Breadman at 19:31. And we are all square at 1. It's your lucky day. Our friends at Proper 12 are giving the first 10,000 fans into the arena on March 16th an exclusive green baseball jersey. Make sure to secure your tickets and get your limited edition giveaway before it's too late. Head to NewYorkRangers.com/ticket offers. Check out the out-of-town scoreboard on this Sunday around the National Hockey League. Finals from earlier this afternoon. The Devils took care of the Philadelphia Flyers 3-1 to snap their 3-game skid. Jake Allen with 23 saves in net. Philly has now lost 4 consecutive games. Capitals double up the Kraken 4-2 to win their 4th straight game. Alexander Ovechkin tallying an empty net goal, his 3rd of the season, number 886 in his career. He is now 9 goals away from breaking the all-time mark, of course, set by Wayne Gretzky. It was the Penguins defeating Minnesota by a score of 3-1, snapping their 4-game skid. Sidney Crosby with a pair of goals, numbers 20 and 21. Minnesota stays 2 shy of Colorado for 3rd place in the Central Division. End of 2 in Carolina. The Hurricanes have a 2-0 lead over the Winnipeg Jets. Mark Jankowski with a pair of tallies, his 5th and 6th of the season. Carolina trying for a 4th consecutive victory. Winnipeg, of course, best record in the National Hockey League. They have won 13 of their last 16 games. Coming up a little bit later on this evening, the Kings will be in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights. LA winless in 5 of their last 6. Vegas, meantime, trying for a 5th straight win. They are 4 up on the Edmonton Oilers for the top spot in the Pacific Division. It'll be Dallas visiting the Vancouver Canucks. Dallas has won 4 of their last 5. Vancouver has won 2 straight, and they are 1 point shy of that wild card spot, the last wild card spot in the Western Conference. And it'll be the New York Islanders skating in Anaheim tonight against the Ducks. New York has won 4 of their last 5. Anaheim, meantime, winless in 5 of their last 7. Once again, our score here is 1-1 with the Rangers and the Blue Jackets knotted up at the end of 20 minutes of play. JT Miller has been quite the pickup once again for Chris Drury and this New York Rangers hockey team since bringing him back on board. He's got points in 7 of his last 8 games coming into action here tonight. And before this afternoon's contest, Peter Laviolette, addressing the media, was asked where has JT Miller's impact most been felt, aside, of course, from the stat sheet.
I think he's helped others along as well. So his impact is one, but I think his contributions that can help other people as well. And on his line, he plays in a lot of situations for us as well. Starting to get more on the penalty kill. We ease them in, I think, regular shift, power play, and then now more penalty kill as well. In the locker room, his leadership has got a real straightforward approach to him, and he's had a real impact, both in the room and on the ice. And so I think that's been really helpful for our group. I think Will's playing pretty good. He's played with Will. I think Mika's playing pretty good. And I'm not saying that he's responsible. I'm just saying that they together, I think they've played complementary to each other. He he doesn't play the same game as Mika, nor does he play the same game as Will. And so I think that he's helped bring out those two players, and those two players have helped bring him out because he's producing as well. So I think that there's a little bit of rub off on each one in a positive way.
13 games with the New York Rangers here in his second stint for JT Miller, 6 of them multi-point games in the stat sheet. Coach was asked if JT looks like a player who's maybe been refreshed after his time in Vancouver.
I'm not sure I'd have the answer to that because I would have to see them. I'd have to see the backside of it too. I can tell you that he looks to me like he comes to the rink the same way every day. He loves the game and he's happy to be here. He's settled into our locker room quickly. I can't speak to your question exactly, but I can see that he's in a good place here. And like I said, he's done a lot of good things since he's been here.
That is Coach Peter Laviolette talking about JT Miller. It's time now for Owner of the Power Play, brought to you by Chumba Casino. So the Rangers will have 1 minute 38 seconds of carryover power play time. Their second of the evening thus far. To begin period number 2, they're 0 for 1 and really scuffling when it comes to the man advantage. Remember, 1 for their last 18 if you count the earlier power play that they had in that first period. Certainly would be great to be able to get that part of their game going here for the rest of this evening. That was Owner of the Power Play, brought to you by Chumba Casino, where any moment can be your moment with free daily login bonuses, serious prizes, and hundreds of online social casino-style games. Turn your free time into a good time with Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. You must be 21 and over. Terms and conditions apply. Let's pause 10 seconds and allow stations to identify themselves on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network.
Hey, this is Mika Zibanejad.
Hey, this is Adam Fox. Catch every Rangers game right here on 880 ESPN.
WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Rangers out shooting Columbus 10-5 thus far. When the teams have been tied after one period so far this year, the Blue Shirts 10-6-3, Columbus 10-5-5. And this has been the Rangers' first intermission report, brought to you by your local Honda dealers. Contact your local Honda dealer for a great deal today. I will talk to you again coming up in the second intermission. Next, though, we'll turn it right back over to Don LaGreca and Dave Maloney. They've got the second for you, with the Rangers and Blue Jackets knotted up at 1 apiece. You're listening to New York Rangers hockey on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network.
This has been your local Tri-Honda dealers New York Rangers Intermission Report. Blue Shirts Hockey is next.
Experience the sophisticated taste of the best single malt whiskey in the world, the Macallan, founded in 1824. The Macallan is renowned worldwide for its extraordinary single malt whiskeys. Their outstanding quality and distinctive character reveal the uncompromised excellence they pursue. Whether your taste is sherry, oak, or double cask, the Macallan single malt whiskey is for you. Pick up the Macallan today at your nearest liquor store. The Macallan, the single malt whiskey against which all others must be judged. Crafted without compromise. Please savor the Macallan responsibly.
To win the cup, everything needs to line up perfectly. No different than finding the person you want to marry. When the time comes to propose, well, do what I did. Visit the engagement experts at London Jewelers. They'll make shopping for a ring easy. Let them help you pick or design the perfect ring to fit any budget from their 2 by London collection. London Jewelers is committed to getting it just right. So visit London Jewelers today at any of their 6 locations, including Americana Manhasset and the mall at Short Hills. Mention I told you to stop by. You'll get the Michael K treatment.
Hey everyone, looking for some fun and excitement? You've got to check out Chumba Casino. It's 100% free to play. No purchase required. Enjoy hundreds of thrilling online social casino games anytime, anywhere. Like bingo, slingo, slots, and solitaire. Whether you're chilling at home or on the go, get in on the action. Play now for your chance to redeem some serious prizes at ChumbaCasino.com. Available only to players in the U.S., excluding Washington, Michigan, Montana, Connecticut, and Nevada, and Canada, excluding Quebec. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Don LaGreca and Dave Maloney back here at Madison Square Garden. Rangers and the Blue Jackets about ready to start the second period tied at 1. As the New York Rangers get a goal from Artemi Panarin. 5th consecutive game with a goal. The Rangers will defend radio left here for period number 2.
Well, when it's game time, 'tis Tully time. The opening puck drop brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. The original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the all-new Tullamore Dew Honey during tonight's action.
Rangers will have 1 minute and 39 seconds of power play time to start the second period. Try to snap this tie. Bob McGillett, who's the play-by-play voice on the radio side for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I was talking to him. He said that Zach Werenski was his walk-off interview, and Zach blamed himself for the Panarin goal, said I should have played his stick. I just thought he was too far away from the net to make a play. But Panarin still made a play.
Well, that's falling on the sword. That's admirable. But in the meantime, the puck was probably heading 5 feet wide.
Right.
And it's a hell of a deflection. I don't know how you, again, but in hindsight, but the whole thing was the icing that was created by the Rangers, Brodzinski threesome, who were pretty effective that period. The chances weren't a lot. Rangers with 15, Columbus with 13. When you look at Columbus' schedule, they're in New Jersey. They'll play the Devils. They're going to stay in Manhattan tonight, move over to New Jersey tomorrow, and then take on the Devils. And then the next 4 are all at home. And, of course, one of those includes next Saturday against the Rangers at Nationwide Arena.
And the Rangers will be coming off a trip. Winnipeg Tuesday, Minnesota Thursday. Rangers win the face-off, can get to work on the power play. Panarin, right wing, wraps it around the wall. Tarasov can't play, goes all the way out to the far point, held in by JT Miller, but his pass to Jones goes through him. Corrali's on his horse. He'll get to it first back behind the net. Shields off a check at Jones, looking to kill some time as he pins it to the wall. Zibanejad trying to fish it back out, still stuck to the wall as time ebbs away. Now the Rangers finally loosen it up, and here comes Panarin flying down the right side, cuts up the middle, finds a breaking Kreider. Here comes Kreider, sharp angle, but he fanned on the shot. As in his face was Fabro. Kreider goes awkwardly into the boards, gets back up. JT Miller straight away to Zach Jones, under a minute to go on the power play. Panarin now straight away between the circles, leaves it for Jones. Jones backs up to the blue line, now straight away, out to the left side, stick handle, passes to Zibanejad, wrist shot goes wide. Jenner plays it to the corner, collects, and then fires it back out of the zone.
Well, again, the defenders in the I formation, and they kind of walk themselves as Jones walks himself to his left. The defense adjusts accordingly, and it's really tough to get the puck through.
Rangers get the second unit out there with less than 30 seconds to go on their power play. Lafreniere to Trocheck. Trocheck drops it off for Brodzinski, settles it down, passes to Keandre Miller. Brodzinski off the stick of Trocheck, but he gets enough of it to get it out to Miller. Pass goes off of Cooley. Battles there with Christensen. Olivier there as well, all to the right of Tarasov. Slides to the near wing, held in by Brodzinski. Slides a pass to Miller. Back to Brodzinski. Brodzinski fires off the post. And that'll do it for the power play as Kunin can't clear, so the Rangers do keep. Here's Lafreniere, can't get it deep. Out of the box. Columbus goes, and they're able to knock it back all the way down. Matejchuk out of the box, cleared, but it's an icing, so the faceoff comes back down into the Columbus end.
Yeah, we'll get a little better look at Columbus to our right here in the second period at the start. They really do a pretty good job of blocking the lanes, just cluttering up the middle of the ice on that power play. The Rangers 0 for 2 on the power play here tonight. 1 for 19 last 6 games, including tonight.
Carrick will take the draw versus Cunnin, won by the Rangers. Jones' shot looked like it went off the back of Rempe. Goes by Olivier, comes out his own end to the near side, backhands it back out of the zone. Rangers steal. Rempe to Carrick. Carrick near circle. He drives a shot and a save by Tarasov. Goes back out to the point where Soucy has it. He risks the shot on and it goes wide. Carrick near circle. Rangers trying to buzz here early in the second period. Jones with a backhand. Carrick to Rempe back behind the net. Rempe with Christensen on him. Rempe comes out the far boards, spins back into the corner, below the goal line, tries to force it in front but loses the puck. Matejchuk will skate it out himself. Passes back out to Olivier, hits the red line off the half boards and down. Both teams will change. 2.5 minutes played here in the second period. Rangers and Blue Jackets tied at 1. Jones off the half wall to himself and then sends it down. First to get there is Fabro, but the pass goes too far for Columbus to gather, and now regather with Marchenko. Marchenko to the slot. Shot goes wide as the momentum will take it back out. Voronkov took the shot. Here comes Panarin. Panarin brings it into the zone. Panarin stick handles to the far boards. Cross-ice pass goes to Borgen. Couldn't handle it. Backhands it off Voronkov, who passes back out to Fantilli. Fantilli with Voronkov. Fantilli with a shot and scores from the far circle. And for the second time of the game, Columbus takes a 1-goal lead. It's 2-1.
And again, the Rangers turn it over at the blue line. Artemi Panarin comes in on the right side, right? And he walks the blue line. The puck just doesn't get deep enough. So now when it turns back up ice, Borgen loses his stick. He's not going to be a factor defending. In the meantime, it is a hell of a shot, but that puck has to get in deep. It's that east-west play just inside the blue line. That is not winning hockey. It's not. You know, you're talking about the guy that's got 5 goals in 5 games, but you've got to pick the right spot. Turn it over at the blue line, and Fantilli with his 19th on the season, and Columbus on their 5th shot has a 2-1 lead.
Goal comes at 3:07 of the second period. As Dave said, just 5 shots. Here comes Zibanejad. Can't get around Fantilli. Cooley's shot goes wide, comes to the near boards. Voronkov clears at the center. Vakanainen passes in close quarters to JT Miller, goes off his stick. Sent down off the stick of Marchenko. No icing, so Schneider plays it. Edge of the trapezoid to the corner. Centering pass goes out to Johnson, who scores. From right behind the net, the scrum bounces right in front, and Columbus takes a 3-1 lead.
Well, this is a one-on-one battle behind the net, and it's not a long battle, but it's just physical. Voronkov just a bigger man than Schneider. He's taller, he's heavier, and he kind of wins the battle. And in front of the net, onto the puck of Johnson. So the 2 youngsters for Columbus on back-to-back shots have staked the Blue Jackets to a 3-1 lead here, just 3 minutes and 33 seconds into the second period. Wow.
So it was Fantilli in front who got the feed for his second goal in a very close proximity of each other. 3:07 to 3:33. And so the Rangers now down 2 goals. And here comes Olivier looking for more. Streaking down the far side, hits the red line, wrists it down. Goes to Jones. Jones back behind the net for Soucy. Soucy out to Berard. And now the Rangers come back up. Jones passes to Carrick, backhands it down. Tarasov back behind the net. Swooping back in is Columbus with Provorov. Skates it out of the zone and taps it deeper. Jones stretches to get it back out of the zone. Carrick has a bounce off of his skate to Johnson. Johnson near circle. Wrist shot goes off the glove of Quick. And the backhand goes right through the crease and wide.
Wow.
Back out to center.
I'll tell you, that went right through Olivier's stick. Otherwise, it's 3-1. All he had to do was get his stick on it.
Goes back out to Danforth. Chinnikov, far wall. Back behind the net. Danforth hops over his stick. Collects back at the near corner. Climbs the wall. Backhands it back behind the net. Picked off by Sam Carrick, flips it back out to center ice. The bouncing puck can't be played by Werenski. Here comes Rempe. Rempe on the bouncing puck, makes a move, ends up on net, and it's steered aside by Tarasov and comes to the near corner. And flip back out to center. Danforth can't play it. Borgen can. Slides it to Schneider. Schneider at his blue line sends it back out. Goes off for Rempe. Back out to Fabro, who's going to spin back in his own end. 5 minutes played here in the second period. Columbus with both goals here in the second have a 3-1 lead. Werenski still with it, deliberate across the red line, passes through Corrali, so Borgen will play it back behind his net. Comes out the near side for Lafreniere. Lafreniere outlet pass to Keandre Miller, now to Panarin. Panarin can't bring it into the zone, it's poked by Provorov back to center, so Borgen just sends it back down. Severson passes to Provorov. Provorov back to Severson across the red line, will wrist it down. Swings around the boards for Zibanejad. Zibanejad taps it to Borgen. Off the near wall for Trocheck, flips it back out to center. Rolling puck will go down, not far enough for icing, so Severson will go back behind his net. Provorov back behind his cage, brings it back up right to left. Severson passes back out. Austin Reese. Van Riemsdyk finds Provorov. He fires a shot. Glove saved by Quick. Rebound was loose. Sent out by Cooley, who passes out to JT Miller, who hits the red line and backhands it down. Provorov reaches for it, goes back behind the net. Aston Reese up the far wall, but JT Miller steals it away, but we got a whistle and a hold.
Yeah, it's going to be a holding penalty on Cooley. I was looking to the official down to my right. He didn't have it up. It was the up-ice official that makes the call. So the Rangers cough up 2 goals here early in the second period, 26 seconds apart. They will go on their first penalty kill of the evening, down 3-1 here with 13:47 left in the middle period. You're listening to New York Rangers Hockey on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network.
Now's the time for a great deal on a new Honda. It's time to drive smarter with high-tech features and excellent reliability. It's time for intelligent design, plus exciting performance. Get a new vehicle you'll love. Check out the Honda Civic, Accord, or HR-V.
Contact your local Honda dealer for a great deal today.
See dealer for financing details.
Hey there, game lovers. Ready for some excitement? Chumba Casino is where it's at. It's free to play with hundreds of online social casino games and new releases every week. Play anytime, anywhere, and enjoy free daily login bonuses and a fantastic welcome offer. Whether at home or on the go, play for your chance to redeem some serious prizes with ChumbaCasino.com. Available only to players in the U.S., excluding Washington, Michigan, Montana, Connecticut, and Nevada, and Canada, excluding Quebec. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Attention Rangers fans, let's talk winning off the ice. Thrivewell Infusion specializes in delivering cutting-edge infusion therapies for rare diseases and autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and multiple sclerosis. At Thrivewell, patients receive care, comfort, convenience, and compassion so they can get back to cheering for their favorite teams. From New York to New Jersey and across Long Island, Thrivewell offers private state-of-the-art infusion suites along with breakaway treatment from our highly trained medical team. Find out more at ThrivewellInfusion.com. That's ThrivewellInfusion.com, saving lives drip by drip.
Rangers hockey on ESPN New York is brought to you by your local Honda dealers. Contact your local Honda dealer for a great deal today. 13:47 to go in the second. Columbus with a 3-1 lead. Fantilli's 19th from Voronkov. Fantilli's 20th from Voronkov. Dave, 26 seconds apart, has made a 1-1 game into a 3-1 Columbus lead.
Yeah, I just looked at the second goal. That again, the puck has to go deep. It's an east-west play. Now, Borgen, kind of his stick breaks. But that's the issue is if the puck's deep, Borgen's not even a factor. Terrible, terrible play. Now you're down 3-1.
Puck cleared down, so the holding penalty on Cooley. Rangers clear it, so Cooley with the hold. Columbus goes on their first power play. Columbus power play is 1 for its last 11. Can't get into the zone thanks to Trocheck, who catches up with it. Tries to tap it past Werenski. Centers it, ends up on net where it's steered aside. Goes back out to the point. Miller's able to play and get it back out to center to kill some time. 30 seconds gone as Schneider wrists it down. Tarasov can't play. It goes through Trocheck. Zibanejad at the far circle. Back to Trocheck. Finds Schneider with a shot and scores! Short-handed. And the Rangers get within 1. It's 3-2.
Well, you talk about a smart change. JT Miller goes off and Zibanejad jumps on after Trocheck does a good job of keeping the puck alive in the offensive zone. He jumps on a rim around. Columbus falls asleep, right? And then what a shot off the stick of Braden Schneider. He snaps it to the back of the net, and the Rangers, shorthanded, get them back to within 1. That thing was an absolute bullet. Went right through the glove of the Columbus netminder. That'll keep the crowd into it.
6:54 is the time of Schneider's 4th goal of the year. 12th shorthanded goal for the Rangers this year. Came in second most in the NHL, but now still have to kill off a power play. Van Riemsdyk, Chinakhov off the end boards to Jenner. Jenner up the near wall. Taken away by Kreider. Kreider's going to sling it all the way down. Tarasov plays it in the trapezoid back behind his net to Provorov, who comes out the far side. 50 seconds to go on the Rangers' kill. Provorov, red line, drops it back off. Chinakhov will bring it in, dangles the blue line, stolen back away. Rangers with a chance of the break. It's Zibanejad and Kreider alone. Kreider, Zibanejad to Kreider, who scores! 2 short-handed goals for the Blue Shirts, and they tie the game at 3.
Just a great play at the defensive blue line. The Rangers force a turnover, and Zibanejad, Kreider go to work, and Chris Kreider buries it. So just like that, the building got sparked with the first shorty, and this place is rocking with the second shorty. We're tied at 3.
7:36 is the time of the Kreider goal. Back from injury yesterday, picks up his 18th goal of the year from Zibanejad. A 13th shorthanded goal for the Rangers. 2 on this Columbus power play. Still 30 seconds on it. Rangers down 2 goals as they clear it down. Short-handed. Columbus a chance to take it to a 3-goal lead. Instead, now we're in a tie game. Cunning wraps it around the wall. Looking for it is Danforth. Trocheck bats it back behind the net. To the far wall, Fabro. Through Olivier to Danforth at the near wing. 10 seconds to go on the kill. Backhanded back in the corner, overskated by Olivier. Cleared on the near boards by Trocheck. Bouncing puck ends up on the glove of Trocheck. Trying to fight through a check to the near point, Rorensky. We're back to 5-on-5. Danforth near circle, gets it back down low. Olivier can't get a shot thanks to the diving Keandre Miller. Danforth, cross-ice pass to Fabro. Winds, fires, and it just deflects wide. Goes to Danforth. Olivier leaned on by Snyder. Flips to JT Miller. A 3-on-3 develops. Now maybe a 4-on-3 as here comes JT Miller. Brings it into the zone with Trocheck. Slides to the near wing. Miller, cross-ice pass. Connects with Panarin. Tapped by Trocheck back to Miller, who plays it off the wall. Drives into the corner. Cleared back to the point but not out. Borgen finds Panarin. Panarin with a move in the dot. Panarin fires off the shoulder of Tarasov and out of play. 11:06 to go in the middle frame. We are tied at 3.
Well, we had 26 seconds of agony earlier in this period, and then 2 shorthanded goals, and the Rangers, in 40 seconds, relight this building, and we're tied at 3. Wow.
What a kill. Oh, by the way, they did kill the penalty.
That's right.
So 2 goals scored, and no goal, and 2 goals for the Rangers as Columbus wins the defensive faceoff and bring it in. Outlet pass goes through Marchenko. No icing. Keandre Miller looks behind him, sends it up the far wall. Keandre gets it back in front of his own net, needs to be careful. Ronkov steals it away as he finds Fantilli looking for the hat trick and a backhand save by Quick, and here comes Zibanejad with a head of steam across the red line. Can't bring it into the zone. Borgen pokes it ahead. Rangers will change some bodies as Fantilli comes back up. Fantilli makes a move in the near circle. Fantilli wrist shot deflects off of Miller and wide. Keandre Miller plays it back behind the net for Panarin. Panarin backhands it out of the zone. The bouncing puck goes over Zibanejad's stick. He recollects and wrists it down. Rangers will continue to change bodies with 10:20 to go in the second period, tied at 3. Provorov. Severson. Marchenko can't get it in as it's backhanded out of the zone by Brodzinski. Off the near wall, intercepted by Rempe. Rempe pokes it deeper, but it's Rorensky who settles it down for Provorov. Retreats back behind his net for Rorensky, who will also go back behind the cage and use the far side to clear. Van Riemsdyk chips it ahead. Austin Reese looking for Corrali. Goes too far for him. Otherwise, he'd have a break. Corrali with a sharp angle shot saved by Quick. Goes back out to the near point. Move for Rorensky. Makes another move at the near circle. Drives and then a shot saved by Quick with a shoulder. Soucy puts it back behind his own net. Up the far boards for Offman. Shields off a check. Grabs on his forehand to Brodzinski, who knocks it out of the zone. Corrali to the red line. Spins it back down. Quick puts it in the near corner for Zach Jones. Spins off a check. Aston Reese comes to the near wall for Rempe. Looking for an outlet pass. Misses. Kreider went off of Christensen to the far corner. The two will collide in that corner. Kreider trying to come back out with it and does. Kreider comes to the near corner. Gets it back up top for Schneider. Wrist. The shot doesn't get through as it goes off Olivier, and Jenner will skate it out. Pokes it ahead to Olivier, who couldn't catch up with it, allowing Schneider to back up in his own end and flip it back to center, where he finds Panarin. Panarin stick handles. Leaves it back for Berard. Knocked off the puck by Jenner and cleared by Christensen, but the pass goes off the back of Johnson, allowing Berard to play to Panarin. Back to Berard, who forces it into the Columbus zone and backhands it down. Tarasov for Carrick in the corner. Panarin trying to squeeze it back out up the far wall for Berard. Vakanainen finds Schneider, winds, fires, deflects wide off of Christensen. Johnson will backhand it out of the zone. Schneider waits for it. Rangers will make some changes with 8.5 to go. Schneider wrists it down. Severson on his backhand, stolen away by Trocheck, finds Lafreniere. Lafreniere behind the net, near circle, climbs the near wall, goes to the near point, wrists it off the half wall as he's looking for Trocheck. Cut off by Severson. Panarin comes in for support. Up the wall. Goes back out to the far point. Keandre Miller now straight away. Out to Trocheck, fans on his shot, and it'll be flipped back out to center, helped along by Olivier, who's able to find Danforth, who wrists it all the way down. Miller cuts him forth. Danforth pushes him aside, goes to the edge of the trapezoid. Keandre Miller comes out with it, goes up the far wall, and he flips it back to center. Provorov is going to recoil back at his own end. 7:45 to go in the middle frame, tied at 3. Keandre Miller gets a nice pass out to Cooley, but he loses the puck to Fantilli. Bounces back on to the stick of JT Miller, who spins back to the slot, goes out to the far wing. Zibanejad, but his pass is knocked away and goes to Vakanainen, who gets it back to Zibanejad. But his pass to JT Miller is picked off and will be sent back down by Voronkov, looking for Fantilli. Fights through a check of Vakanainen, spins to the far boards, still with it. Zibanejad pokes it away. Schneider finds Cooley, and the Rangers can come out. Zibanejad hits the red line. Zibanejad brings it in. His pass to Cooley is knocked away and sent back out to center ice. JT Miller almost pickpocketed, but gets enough of it to send it to center for Zibanejad, and the Rangers will start back up. Pass to JT Miller goes off the stick, avoiding the icing. Rangers can finally get a change with under 7 to play. As the fans showing the appreciation for the Rangers' effort as they climb back into this one, tied at 3, out shooting Columbus 15-12. And Takeoff gets it back out to Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk backhand knocked down by Jones, ends up on the crease, but Quick is able to get the stop and the whistle with 6:38 to go as bodies come together to the right of Quick.
Yeah, Hoffman does a nice job on Ashton Reese. Rempe comes in on Van Riemsdyk, and we've got 6:38 left in a stimulating second period here, folks. Rangers with a couple of shorties. We're all tied at 3. New York Rangers hockey on ESPN New York with the MSG Radio Network.
Hey everyone, Adney and Verk here to talk about our great podcast, NHL Unscripted with Verk and Demers.
Jason Demers here. After playing 700 NHL games, it turns out I have an opinion or two. Whoever's saying trade one of them, you don't know anything about hockey. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm rooting for this team. With new guests every week, we will talk about hockey and more.
Can't wait till you watch this movie because it's the biggest award of her career.
He went into the cheetah exhibit. The cheetah took a piece out of him, and he came into the ring the next day.
Tune in to NHL Unscripted with Verk and Demers, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Tito's Handmade Vodka on game day? Pour me in, coach. From a seat in the stands to the best seat on the couch, root for your favorite team with your favorite team spirit. No matter who's on your roster, lineup, or lucky jersey, make Tito's your first round bottle pick. Whose house? Tito's house. Find cocktail recipes for every fan at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers, are here to help you with your heat and water heating needs. Hockey season is the perfect time to replace the inefficient beast in your basement. Peerless Boilers are the perfect match for homes, apartments, commercial buildings, you name it. And with a 96% efficient Peerless Boiler, you get all the heat you need and save on all of your energy bills all year long. Learn more about the Peerless Boiler family of products. To find a local installer near you, visit peerlessboilers.com. And remember, Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers.
Hockey season is the perfect time to replace your old boiler with a new Peerless Boiler. Don't wait until you have no heat. Go to peerlessboilers.com for a dealer near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. 6:38 to go in the second period. Rangers and the Blue Jackets are tied at 3.
Boy, I'll tell you one thing. Jonathan Quick makes a heck of a glove save off of Danforth. That's 3-3 here. Face off to the right of the aforementioned Ranger netminder.
Jenner versus Carrick. Waiting for the drop of the puck. Kyle Flemington doing the honors. Berard now comes in for the face-off. Off the draw, controlled by the Rangers, goes to the near corner. Berard with Jenner. Schneider up the wall, picked off by Olivier. Sharp angle, saved by the stick of Quick. Just gave him nothing to shoot at. Schneider up the near wall, kicks back out of the zone where Vakanainen could skate it out. Vakanainen to Carrick. Carrick at the near wall, trying to get it back to Vakanainen, goes off of Werenski and then back behind the net. Slides to Kreider at the near point, balances the blue line, sends it back, goes off of Berard, so Carrick plays it in the far corner. Jenner's on top of him, centering pass, doesn't connect with Kreider, catches back up with it on the backhand, taps it back to Schneider, to Kreider. His shot deflects off the high glass. Fabro can't clear. Carrick back behind the net where Fabro's able to clear as he finds Johnson. Johnson hits the red line, wrists it down. Schneider back behind the net, peeks behind him, makes sure nobody's there, to Berard. Berard cross ice pass to Kreider, tips it to himself at the far boards. Here comes Chris Kreider. Cross-ice pass to Berard, but it goes off his skate. Provorov up the far wall for Danforth, kept by Borgen, who puts it into the corner. Severson, the first to get there, back behind his net, comes out the far side. Columbus moving right to left. Outlet pass goes off the stick of Danforth, who's knocked down by Lafreniere. Borgen there first, clears to the near boards. Trocheck trying to angle it back out, but instead puts it back behind the net for Will Borgen, who does the same for Miller, who will come out the far side. Back to Borgen and out. Here's Panarin. Panarin to Trocheck, but Severson's able to knock it back out to center ice for a bouncing puck for Fantilli. Fantilli at the near circle, stops, looks for some mates, backhands it into the corner. Voronkov with Keandre Miller on top of him. Voronkov comes out the near side, spins to his forehand, still with centering pass, goes off the stick of Quick. Then Fantilli with a rebound shot that goes wide. Severson passes out to Marchenko. Voronkov, his cross-ice pass goes off a stick. Rangers can't clear. Voronkov then finds an open Marchenko with a shot and a stick save by Quick. To the near boards, Panarin able to get there first and send it back out. Makes a move around Fantilli. Here comes Panarin. Panarin lost the puck. Fantilli grabs it and recoils back at his own end with under 4.5 to play in the second, tied at 3. Provorov's going to wait for his mates to change. The Rangers will change bodies as well. Both teams with 15 shots on goal. Provorov, cross-ice pass to Severson. Severson up the wall, misses Van Riemsdyk, comes to the near wall for JT Miller. Spins it back behind the net. Van Riemsdyk back into the near corner. First to get there's JT Miller. Pass to Schneider to Zibanejad, out the Rangers can come. JT Miller passes to himself into the zone. JT Miller with a shot and a glove save by Tarasov, and he'll hold on.
Nice job through the middle of the ice as Mika Zibanejad chips it to Miller, and Miller gets a shot on goal. You're listening to New York Rangers hockey on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network.
New York Presbyterian gives you the healthcare choices you want, like over 450 locations in Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, and Westchester. Virtual care that lets you connect with us digitally. World-class doctors from Columbia and Weill Cornell Medicine, and Health Matters, an online source for the latest health and wellness topics and tips. Experience extraordinary healthcare when and where you need it. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian. Restrictions apply.
When your team's best players have all been traded and the latest pick is overrated, just raise a glass with a friend or two and tell them more, tell them more, tell them more do. May your team be great and your picks be true, and if it falls apart you'll know what to do. Just raise a glass with a fan or two and tell them more, tell them more, tell them more do. It's a crazy world, so what do? You tell them more, tell them more, tell them more do. Hey!
Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc.
With the enhanced engine performance and fuel economy of newly reformulated Tri-Clean gas from Citgo, you're good to go. But good to go where? Exotic bird shopping? To your Tuesday night bowling league?
Woo! That's a turkey, turkeys.
Good to go try your luck at bingo.
G32. Bingo!
Good to go to a lumberjack competition.
I'm gonna move my car.
New top-tier Tri-Clean gas from Citgo. The most advanced fuel we've ever made. Now you're good to go.
This hockey season is easy to enjoy with Bud Light. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the New York Rangers. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light beer. St. Louis, Missouri, 3:55 to go. In an eventful second period, Rangers and Blue Jackets deadlocked at 3 apiece.
Face off to the right of the Columbus netminder. Vinny Trocheck in the middle with Lafreniere and Artemi Panarin on his flanks.
Oh, something cool about 18,000 people singing the same song.
Yeah.
Not my particular favorite, but it sounds good when the 18,006 all sing Living on a Prayer.
Right.
And that's what the Rangers have been doing down the stretch here, game to game, trying to survive. And Soucy, pass to Lafreniere, gets cut off. Sent back up by Jenner. Jenner straight away near circle shot, easily gloved down by Quick, and will have a face-off to his left with 3:44 to go.
Yeah, Jonathan Quick with the glove on it. Stops everything. And Spoon Jenner, we talk about Jenner, right? He's back 6 games after having shoulder surgery in training camp. You know, he really is the heart and soul of, that kind of trench battle kind of mentality. Captain of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
And the faceoff ends up to the right as they've had the decision where to go with it. Werenski with a distant shot that deflects wide. Vakanainen up the near boards for Berard. Slides to the point, held in by Johnson, but it knocks off of the stick of the Rangers and Berard, who finds Carrick. Slides a pass over to Kreider. Runs out of room at the far corner, pins it to the wall with Fabro in his face. Carrick there as well, all to the right of Tarasov. Johnson joins the party. We've seen a lot of this in this game. Puck stuck to the wall. Columbus comes out with it, and they'll skate with Jenner. Cross-ice pass goes to Johnson. Johnson brings it to the zone on his backhand, goes back behind the net, centers out to the corner where Schneider's there first. Fabro with a blast from the far point, and it goes wide, held in by Werenski. Deflected by Olivier and scores. Werenski found him there in the slot. Olivier deflects it home, and Columbus back on top, 4-3.
Braden Schneider has to have a little more composure with the puck. What happens here earlier, about 8 seconds before this thing ends up in the net, Schneider has the puck to the left of Jonathan Quick. He's out about that bottom of the circle, and there's no one around him. And he just bats it. You know, he bats it to the point. You know, just take that puck with composure and make a play. Ends up the back of the net. Olivier signed a 6-year contract extension with the Columbus Blue Jackets last week. Werenski with another assist, throws it to the middle, deflection back of the net. 1-goal Columbus lead.
Olivier's 13th from Werenski at 17:03. So the Rangers have fought back with 2 shorthanded goals to tie. Now trail again, this time 4-3 here late in the second. Hoffman on his backhand hits the red line to send it down, goes off the stick of Jones to slow it down, but Tarasov back behind the net can't get around Rempe, and then a second opportunity gets it out to Danforth. Tried a home run pass that Chinnikov doesn't connect. Chinnikov still the first to get there, slides a pass out to Severson, leaned on by Brodzinski. To the left of Quick. Cunnin over skates. Soucy collides with Chinnikov. Soucy kicks it to his stick, spins to his forehand up the far wall for Rempe, and Rempe backhands it out. Hoffman helps it along to the near wing for Brodzinski, hits the red line, wrists it down. Goes to the far board. Severson leaves it back for Austin Reese. Aston Reese on his backhand back out to center ice. Danforth over to Provorov. His distance shot deflects off of Borgen. Played by Keandre Miller, but taken by Danforth back behind the net. Corrali drives to the near corner on his backhand to the circle. A minute 50 to go in the period. Slides it back behind the net where it's intercepted by Borgen. And slides out of the zone. Rangers trying to gather, but it's overskated by Cooley. Goes back into the Ranger end, and they fire it back out. Miller didn't want to touch it. He's just coming off the ice, and it goes back in to the Columbus end. Werenski sends the Blue Jackets back out. Van Riemsdyk just calmly backhands it down to avoid the icing. Borgen with Corrali up the far wall for Cooley, who backhands it to the near wall. Zibanejad didn't see it. Werenski gets there first and slides it deeper into the zone. Van Riemsdyk centering pass goes to Corrali. Corrali get back up top for a shot by Fabro, who scores. There was traffic in front. And for the second time in this game, Columbus takes a 2-goal lead. It's now 5-3.
Boy, I'll tell you, these goals are coming in bunches, right? And this is just a really final pass by Corrali to find a wide open Fabro. And right on top of Jonathan Quick is Aston Reese. And it's just, again, Mika Zibanejad leaves the zone, right? And the Rangers never get possession of the puck until they have to pull it out of their own net. Just sloppy defensive zone play again. And Riemsdyk is going to get an assist. Boy, how quickly things have changed. Wow.
So Fabro gets the goal, his 5th on the year. Comes at 18:47, so 2 goals in the final 3 minutes of this period. And now we're under a minute. See if the Rangers can respond here. Trying to fight back from 2 goals again. Pass too far for Schneider, taken by Panarin, back to Schneider. Leaves it Panarin in the near circle. Back to Schneider. Helps it along to the far corner for Trocheck. Back up top for Vakanainen. Dangles the blue line. Passes back to Schneider, forced to play it off the wall. Back to Trocheck, who's in the corner. Climbs the near wall, back to Schneider. Keeps it at the near point. Finds Lafreniere, but hops over his stick, but kept with the glove of Schneider. Back to Lafreniere, slings a pass, goes back out to the wing. Panarin with a shot and a save by Tarasov, and comes to the near wing. Provorov skates it back out himself. Lafreniere stripped of the puck by Marchenko. Marchenko finds Fantilli, and his shot goes back behind the net. Trocheck for Lafreniere. Here comes Lafreniere with 10 seconds to go in the period. Distant shot easily gloved out of the air by Tarasov. Steers it back behind the net for Fabro. For Rowinski with 5 seconds to go. Outlet pass will go all the way down. This will be an icing with 0.7.
Back of his head. But, you'd like to see him stop and get back into the defensive zone. So, the Rangers have their work cut out. In back-to-back games, overtime losses entering the third period with a 1-goal lead. They're going to have to look for some help here and find a goal early and take it from there, Donnie.
Yeah, try to reverse their fortunes and come back from a deficit in the third rather than cough it up the way they've done in the last couple of games. This out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Best Trails and Travel. They're late in the third period in Carolina. Hurricanes up 4-1 on the Jets. Earlier today, it was the Capitals doubling up the Kraken 4-2 as Ovechkin scored again, number 886 of his career. Penguins knock off the Wild 3-1. Later on tonight at 8 o'clock, the Kings will be at the Golden Knights. Canucks play host to the Stars at 9 o'clock. And continuing their trip, the Islanders will be in Anaheim to take on the Ducks. Devils earlier today defeated the Flyers 3-1. That's the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Best Trails and Travel, New York City's premier charter bus company. Visit them today for the ultimate travel experience, besttrailstravel.com. Dan Gross is going to take you through the second intermission, recap the period, give you more on the out-of-town scoreboard, then we'll drop the puck for a big third period here at the Garden, where the Rangers have some work to do. They trail the Columbus Blue Jackets 5-3 after 2. You're listening to Rangers Hockey on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network.
Yeah, it's another day, but what kind of day is it really? A day of doom scrolling? Laundry day? Nah, it's a White Claw day. Light and refreshing tasting, uniquely cold way filtered. There's an iconic flavor for everyone. So grab a pack, grab your friends. Make the most of each day with those who matter most. When you're together with White Claw, every day is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You just gotta grab it. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
Now's the time for a great deal on a new Honda. It's time to take an adventure with rugged capability and commanding style. It's time for powerful performance, plus plenty of room inside. Start your journey in a brand new vehicle. Check out the Honda Ridgeline, Pilot, or CR-V.
Contact your local Honda dealer for a great deal today.
See dealer for financing details.
New York Presbyterian gives you the healthcare choices you want, like over 450 locations in Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, and Westchester. Virtual care that lets you connect with us digitally. World-class doctors from Columbia and Weill Cornell Medicine, and Health Matters, an online source for the latest health and wellness topics and tips. Experience extraordinary healthcare when and where you need it. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian. Restrictions apply.
Tito's handmade vodka on game day? Pour me in, coach. From a seat in the stands to the best seat on the couch, root for your favorite team with your favorite team spirit. No matter who's on your roster, lineup, or lucky jersey, make Tito's your first round bottle pick. Whose house? Tito's house. Find cocktail recipes for every fan at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
This is the Spectrum New York Rangers Intermission Report. Now, here's Dan Grossa on the MSG Radio Network.
And it's time now for the Rangers' second intermission report. It's brought to you by Spectrum. Dan Grossa with you. 2 periods in the books here at MSG in an eventful middle period between the Rangers and the Blue Jackets. 6 goals hit the back of the net. Fortunately for the home team, 4 of them off the sticks of the Columbus Blue Jackets. They have a 5-3 lead after 2 periods of play. 3:07 into that second period. Adam Fantilli is 19th of the season, beating Jonathan Quick to give the visitors a 2-1 lead. Fantilli's 4th goal in 7 games. Dmitry Voronkov picking up the assist. Not long after that, another goal from none other than Adam Fantilli, his 20th of the season, just 26 seconds later at 3:33, also from Voronkov with the assist. So the Blue Jackets, just like that, take a 3-1 lead over the New York Rangers. A few minutes later, Will Cooley called for holding at 6:13, but then things got good for the Blue Shirts. Generally doesn't happen, of course, when you're shorthanded. But Braden Schneider converts a shorthanded tally, his 4th of the season at 6:54 of the second from Trocheck and Zabielski. Zibanejad. Schneider getting on the goal-scoring board for the first time in 15 games dating back to January the 23rd. And Mika Zibanejad with that secondary helper. Points now in 8 of the last 10 games. But still with the penalty continuing for Cooley, the Rangers found a way to get even. 42 seconds later, Chris Kreider converts the goal from Mika Zibanejad on essentially a 2-on-none and a beautiful give and go between Zibanejad and Kreider. His first goal since February the 22nd. Second in the last 3 games of action for Chris, remember, counting the injury there. Mika picks up his second multi-assist game in the last 5. And the Rangers score 2 shorthanded goals while killing the same penalty for the first time since March the 5th of 2014 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we were all square at 3, but the Rangers could not get to the intermission without losing the lead. Matthew Olivier at 17:03 gives the Blue Jackets a 4-3 lead once again, his 13th of the season from Zach Werenski and Dante Fabro. Third goal in the last 6 for Olivier. Less than 2 minutes later, though, the Blue Jackets strike again, and it's Dante Fabro's 5th of the year at 18:47, his first in 9 games from Sean Corrali and James Van Riemsdyk. So when it all stopped, the Blue Jackets had a 5-3 lead after 2 periods, and the Blue Shirts have some work to do once they take the ice for the third period. Shots on goal in that second period, 14-9 in favor of the Columbus Blue Jackets. 2 teams tied up at 18 in the shots on goal department. Still more for us to do here, though, of course, on the Rangers Intermission Report. We come back, we'll take a check out the out-of-town scoreboard on this busy Sunday around the National Hockey League. And New York Rangers hockey on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network continues right after this timeout.
Ranger fans, when deciding to take a charter bus, there's only one choice. That's Best Trails and Travel, New York City's premier charter bus company. Best Trails and Travel have the highest level of charter bus service in New York City, and they've been serving New York's leading corporations, professional sports teams, and private individuals for 30 years. They offer premier customer service and the newest fleet of buses in the industry. Whether you're traveling with family, friends, or colleagues, Best Trails and Travel guarantees you the ultimate traveling experience. Visit them at besttrailstravel.com or call 212-206-6974.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
You want to get the most for your money. That's why more Mazda buyers choose Ramsey Mazda. Lease a new 2025 Mazda CX-50 all-wheel drive, only $249 a month, or buy and get 0.9% APR financing for 36 months. Start shopping now at RamseyMazda.com. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda. Call 833-853-2970 for details. Excludes tax, title, and registration. 0 security deposit. VIN SN316458. MSRP $32,295. Ends 3/31/25.
What's up, New York Rangers fans? Enjoying the game should be easy, so don't overthink it. What to wear? Done. Just toss on your lucky jersey. Don't know what to serve your friends? Easy. Pick up some pizza from your go-to and grab some Bud Light to stock your fridge. See, it's that easy. Just like Bud Light, which is always brewed with 4 simple ingredients for a clean, crisp taste. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
With the enhanced engine performance and fuel economy of newly reformulated Tri-Clean gas from Citgo, you're good to go. But good to go where? Exotic bird shopping? To your Tuesday night bowling league?
Woo! That's a turkey, turkeys.
Good to go try your luck at bingo.
G32. Bingo!
Good to go to a lumberjack competition.
I'm gonna move my car.
New top-tier Tri-Clean gas from Citgo. The most advanced fuel we've ever made. Now you're good to go.
Attention Rangers fans, let's talk winning off the ice. ThriveWell Infusion specializes in delivering cutting-edge infusion therapies for rare diseases and autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and multiple sclerosis. At ThriveWell, patients receive care, comfort, convenience, and compassion so they can get back to cheering for their favorite teams. From New York to New Jersey and across Long Island, ThriveWell offers private state-of-the-art infusion suites along with breakaway treatment from our highly trained medical team. Find out more at ThriveWellInfusion.com. That's ThriveWellInfusion.com. Saving lives drip by by Drip.
Dan Grasso back on the Rangers' second intermission report. 5-3 is our score, with the Blue Jackets leading the New York Rangers. Fantilli, a pair of goals for Columbus in that second period to give them a 3-1 lead at 3:07 and 3:33, numbers 19 and 20. Rangers answer with a pair of shorthanded tallies to even it up. Braden Schneider is fourth at 6:54. Chris Kreider is 18th at 7:36. And then Columbus takes the lead once again. Matthew Olivier is 13th at 17:03, and Dante Fabro, his fifth of the year, at 18:47. White Claw, light and refreshing tasting, uniquely cold whey filtered. There's an iconic flavor for everyone in Mahoney's Irish Pub in Poughkeepsie. Grab life by the claw and always do it responsibly. Out-of-town scoreboard on this Sunday around the National Hockey League. 7 other games, and 4 of them have gone final. In Philadelphia, the Devils took care of the Flyers 3-1, snapping their 3-game skid. Jake Allen, 23 saves in net. Philly has lost 4 consecutive games. Washington doubles up Seattle 4-2. Caps have won 4 in a row, and Alex Ovechkin netting an empty netter, his 33rd of the season, .886 in his storied career, just 9 away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's record. Pittsburgh, 2 better than Minnesota by a 3-1 final. They snapped their 4-game losing streak. Sidney Crosby, a pair of tallies, numbers 20 and 21. Mark Jankowski potted a pair of goals, leading Carolina past Winnipeg 4-2, just the 4th loss in the last 17 games for the Winnipeg Jets. Carolina, meantime, has won 4 straight. Dropping the puck in about 10 minutes or so in Vegas, the Golden Knights will host the LA Kings. LA is winless in 5 of their last 6. Vegas has won 4 in a row. They have a 4-point cushion, I should say, on Edmonton atop the Pacific Division. Vancouver will be home for the Dallas Stars. Dallas has won 4 of their last 5. Vancouver trying for a 3rd straight win. And the Islanders will skate in Anaheim against the Ducks. New York has won 4 of their last 5 games. Anaheim winless in 5 of their last 7. Once again, our score here is 5-3 Columbus at the end of 2 periods of play. Official Sam Rosengear is here. Honor Sam's final season behind the mic by grabbing an exclusive t-shirt celebrating Sam. Head to shop.msg.com to secure your shirt and commemorate Sam's final season. Brett Berard having a nice little stint back up here with the New York Rangers. Been back in the lineup since March the 2nd, and he talked at practice the other day if he noticed a bigger emphasis on defense since he was called back up.
Yeah, it's that's something that I learned too coming up here the first time is how hard this league is, and it's something that I kind of trying to take pride in more and more is to be good defensively, gain coach's trust, and that's what I tried to do when I got sent down and learning things down there in Hartford, so that if I got this opportunity again to come up better and stronger in that area too specifically. But yeah, I mean, playing with Sam and Rebs too, they're awesome, they're simple, we're always talking on the bench, off the ice, on the ice, making things really simple for each other, so it's been great.
And after a couple of months in the AHL, Brett says everyone's buying in, and that's what keyed the turnaround here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, 20 games left. We're right there, and they're in the playoff hunt. So can't give up too many opportunities. Every game's a playoff game now. So we dial in defensively. Our offense will take over. So just continue building off of that, and I think we'll be in good shape.
Thoughts of Brett Berard. It's time now for this date in New York Rangers history. March 9th, a busy one as far as the New York Rangers are concerned. 1977, the Rangers held Rod Gilbert night at MSG, honoring Gilbert for his career achievements with the Blue Shirts. He tallied a goal and an assist in the Rangers game that evening, which was a 6-4 win against the Minnesota North Stars. On March 9th of 96, Brian Leetch registered his 432nd career assist with the Blue Shirts, passing Ron Greshner to become the Rangers' all-time leader in assists by a defenseman. And on March 9th, 2014, Henrik Lundqvist earned his 300th career NHL win, tying Eddie Jacobin's franchise record for shutouts by earning his 49th career shutout with the Rangers in a 3-0 win against Detroit at Madison Square Garden. So the Rangers have some work to do here, trailing Columbus 5-3 after 2. They're just 4-23-1 this year when trailing after 40 minutes. Columbus, on the other hand, when they have a lead after 2 periods, you almost take it to the bank. They're 19-1-3. So the Rangers have their work cut out for them over the final 20 minutes of regulation. And that was the Rangers' second intermission report, brought to you by Spectrum. You can make anything possible because you have a connection that's built for everywhere. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum. I'll talk to you again in the post-game show, but coming up next, we'll hand it right back over to Don LeGrec and Dave Maloney. They've got period 3 for you with the Blue Jackets on top of the Rangers by a score of 5-3. And you're listening to New York Rangers hockey on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network.
This has been the Spectrum One New York Rangers Intermission Report. Blue Shirts Hockey is next.
Experience the sophisticated taste of the best single malt whiskey in the world, the Macallan, founded in 1824. The Macallan is renowned worldwide for its extraordinary single malt whiskeys. Their outstanding quality and distinctive character reveal the uncompromised excellence they pursue. Whether your taste is sherry oak or double cask, the Macallan single malt whiskey is for you. Pick up the Macallan today at your nearest liquor store. The Macallan, the single malt whiskey against which all others must be judged. Crafted without compromise. Please savor the Macallan responsibly.
With the enhanced engine performance and fuel economy of newly reformulated Tri-Clean gas from Citgo, you're good to go. But good to go where? Exotic bird shopping? To your Tuesday night bowling league?
Woo! That's a turkey, turkeys.
Good to go try your luck at bingo.
G32. Bingo!
Good to go to a lumberjack competition.
I'm gonna move my car.
New top-tier Tri-Clean gas from Citgo. The most advanced fuel we've ever made. Now you're good to go.
Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers, are here to help you with your heat and water heating needs. Hockey season is the perfect time to replace the inefficient beast in your basement. Peerless Boilers are the perfect match for homes, apartments, commercial buildings, you name it. And with a 96% efficient Peerless Boiler, you get all the heat you need and save on all of your energy bills all year long. Learn more about the Peerless Boiler family of products. To find a local installer near you, visit peerlessboilers.com. And remember, Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden. Don LaGreca and Dave Maloney about ready to start period number 3. Rangers trail the Blue Jackets 5-3. Rangers will defend radio right here for the third period. Last time these two teams hooked up, you go back to that game on January 18th, 1-0 in a shootout. Couldn't buy a goal. So far in this game, we've seen 8 goals in the first 40 minutes. When it's game time, it's Tully time. The third period puck drop is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the all-new Tullamore Dew Honey during tonight's action.
Well, the Rangers certainly have their work cut out for them. Again, we talked about the end of the last 2 second periods. Home against Washington in Ottawa. Again, in Ottawa, you're hanging on by a thread, but you still had a 1-goal lead going into the third. Shesterkin was that good. And here tonight, now you've got to come back from 2 down. As you take a look here, Zach Werenski with a couple of assists. He's +2. Ronkoff, a couple of assists, +2. The Rangers, Will Cooley -3 on the early evening. JT Miller -3. Of course, Mika Zibanejad, part of the shorthanded 40-second barrage in the second period. But the Rangers have their work cut out. Now, if you get one here, does Columbus go into panic mode? Do they go into a prevent defense here? Let's see how this thing plays out, Donnie.
That's why you got to stay tuned. Face-off controlled by the Rangers. Thanks for joining us here on a Sunday night at Madison Square Garden. Rangers trail 5-3 as we enter the third period. This will get sent all the way down as it missed Chris Kreider, and we'll have a face-off back down to Jonathan Quick. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves. You're listening to Rangers Hockey on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network.
Hey, this is Mika Zibanejad.
Hey, this is Adam Fox. Catch every Rangers game right here on 880 ESPN.
WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Face off to the right of Jonathan Quick. Carrick will take the draw versus Olivier, who's got a goal in this game. Carrick wins it clean off the end boards for Schneider, and now the Rangers can come up right to left. Schneider flips it back out to center, where it's gloved down by Werenski, gathers up, leaves to the near wing, and Jenner. Jenner on the backhand doesn't get through as it goes off of Vakanainen. Goes to the point, can't be held in by Fabro, who scored the last goal of this one, to Jenner, and now Columbus can come up. Through Johnson, Schneider plays it back behind the cage up the far wall, and the Rangers can escape. Berard, hard pass over to Cooley. Cooley drives up the middle, wrists the shot that goes wide, may have went off a stick. Matejchuk up the far wall for Marchenko, but a good job by Cooley to just hit him and take the puck away. Soucy, red line, distant shot, stick aside, and goes back behind the net. And Marchenko will flip it all the way down. It'll deaden before there's icing, so Soucy will play it to the right of his cage. Minute played here in the third period. Rangers chasing a 2-goal deficit here at the Garden. Panarin with a goal. Gets to the right wing. Hits the red line, wrists it down. Tarasov leaves it for Provorov. Fights through a stick check of Panarin up the far wall. This will go through some bodies and down. It'll be an icing on the Blue Jackets as we send it back down to Tarasov. Some fits and starts here to begin period number 3.
Yeah, really not a whole lot going on here in the first minute and 23 seconds. Certainly if you're the road team Columbus, you have no problem with that. Rangers take a face-off here to the right of the Columbus netminder.
Fantilli versus Trocheck. Trocheck wins it clean. Panarin with a shot over the net. Borgen, sharp angle, goes back behind the cage. Lafreniere climbs the near wall, pokes it back out to the point. Marchenko, though, drags it back to center ice, so the Rangers have to start back over with Keandre Miller. To Borgen, far boards. Cross-ice pass goes off the stick of Trocheck and down. First to get there is Provorov back behind his own cage, and out it goes to the point, but held in by Borgen. His shot deflects off of Parkov, goes back out to Lafreniere off the feet from Trocheck. Provorov sweeps in on his backhand. Leads for Fantilli, but it's held in by Keandre Miller, but only momentarily as Provorov gets around a prone Lafreniere who wiped out. Finds Cunnin, shot pad saved by Quick. Rebound comes to the near side, shot by Severson goes off the side of the net. Now the Rangers can calm it down and flip it back out to the point, but not out as Danforth kept it in. But the pass misses Cunnin, allowing the Rangers defense Borgen and Miller to bring it up.
Yeah, Severson breaks his stick on the one-time shot attempt. In the meantime, the Rangers with possession here, Donnie.
Brodzinski sends it down. Werenski back behind his own net, up the far wall, held in by Van Riemsdyk, and then sends it back out to Corrali. Pickpocketed by Rempe. Nice play by Rempe. Off the near boards looking for Othman, but the pass goes too far, so Werenski will play it to the side of his net.
Offside. Othman was offside, so Rangers had to bail out of the offensive zone.
Has to reach, can't fight through a check, and Brodzinski loses the puck. Vakanainen up the wall. Othman can't get it out. Deflected on the Fabro shot. Hops into the air. Van Riemsdyk with a centering pass to Corrali and a diving save by Quick, and he's able to get the whistle.
Yes. Columbus keeps coming to the net, right? And the puck kind of bats around on Braden Schneider once again. Up in the air and ends up. Vakanainen makes a nice play here. He knocks the pass attempt from Corrali to Van Riemsdyk, and Jonathan Quick eventually in that full front crawl position flops on the puck, stops play. 17 minutes left in the third period here. The Rangers down by 2, and Columbus in the offensive zone for an offensive zone faceoff down here.
Yeah, Jenna versus JT Miller. Miller wins it clean. Keandre stick handles around Johnson, skates it up. Outlet pass to Zibanejad, plays over to JT Miller, finds a breaking Cooley, but it misses and goes to the corner. Boone Jenner knocks it over to Johnson. He overskates it, allowing Zibanejad to steal, rips a shot that deflects wide. Looked like it went off of Provorov as he's shaking his hand. Zibanejad up the near wing for Keandre Miller, backs up to the blue line, slides a pass to Borgen. Borgen back to JT Miller, and he's leaned onto the far boards and goes into the corner. Provorov pokes it back behind the net. Rangers center goes all the way back out to the point. Borgen backhand to get it deeper. Picked off by Johnson. Johnson slides a pass to Olivier and chips it down. Borgen the first to get there, chased by Jenner back behind his net, so he leaves for Keandre Miller. Approaching 4 minutes played here in the third period. Rangers need 2. Kreider tips it to the red line to avoid the icing. Tarasov leaves it for Werenski. Up the far wall, cut off by Jones. Jones far point, shot goes wide. Werenski plays it off the wall. Feathers a pass out to Fantilli. Skates it out of his own zone and rips it down looking for a hop, but it's going to be an icing as it was well before the red line. Faceoff will come back down to Tarasov.
We talked about Werenski a lot over the course of 40 minutes, and there's another play out of his end here. It is a very simple play, but a composed first pass. First pass out, he gets it to Fantilli in flight. Fantilli tries that hard dump in, gets dinged for an icing.
Rangers win the faceoff. Panarin straight away rips a shot that goes wide. Played by Marchenko. Flips it back out to center ice. Rangers dominating the faceoff dot 68%, and we're able to get an opportunity off that last win. Soucy off a Trocheck and down. Racing for the puck as Werenski backs up behind his goal line off the far half wall, kept by Jones, but only momentarily, as Voronkov's able to poke it back out to center. Jones, stick handles to the blue line, brings it into the zone, comes to the near boards, wraps it around the wall. Out to the corner, goes off of Chinnikov. Werenski comes out the near side, almost taken away by Panarin, goes off the side of the net. Trocheck back to Panarin, spins on his backhand, now his forehand far corner to Trocheck. Helps along back behind the net to the near wing of Vakanainen. Sends it back behind the net. Panarin can't center around Fabro. Slides to the near wing. Marchenkov can't get it out. Now a second opportunity by Chinnikov. Skates it back out and then flips it all the way down. Looking for a zone pass, but it'll be cut off by Schneider. Who backhands it over to Vakanainen, comes out the far side and slides it back out to the neutral zone for a waiting Blue Jacket and Provorov. Danforth backhands it down. Schneider sends it up to the far wall. Banajad can't clear, goes off the near glass. Played by Severson into the corner. Pinned to the left
with a power play goal.
One for their last 19. The penalty comes at 5:57. Provorov for delay a game. JT Miller, first unit out, wins the faceoff. Zibanejad to Panarin at the near point. Out to Jones at the far point. Dangles the blue line. Now near wing. Back down low for Miller. Miller at the hash marks. Back out to Jones. Dances the blue line. Leaves for Panarin. Panarin straight away from Miller with a shot that deflects off of Fabro. Goes up to the far boards. Fabro kicks it up the far glass. Jones keeps with his chest. Coming back out with it is JT Miller. Looks around, finds Panarin. Panarin shot, chest save. Rebound by Kreider, steered to the near corner. Panarin back to Kreider. Kreider can't get around Werenski. Tries the near side to Panarin. Back to Jones. Jones gets it out to the far wing and Miller. Back to Zibanejad with a shot and a save. Panarin with a shot that goes back over the net. Zibanejad for JT Miller. 1:10 to go on the power play. Jenner takes it away and then flips it down.
No, it's just another hell of a play by Werenski. Werenski has the puck on the boards, composed. He bumps it to Jenner. Out it goes.
Jones leaves it back in his own end for Panarin. Under a minute to go on a huge power play for the Rangers. 7 minutes gone in the third. They're down 2, 5-3. Severson to the near boards. It's Zibanejad. Zibanejad to the near corner. Pinned there by Severson. To the right of Tarasov. 45 seconds to go. Squirts to the near circle. Out with it comes Aston Reese. Short-handed to the red line. Leaves it back for Corrali at the near wing. Gets to the circle. Spins. Climbs up the wall. Sends it back out to the neutral zone for a waiting Panarin. Panarin waits for his mates. Feathers the pass to Zibanejad. Tip to JT Miller. JT Miller stops. Fires it off the high glass. Comes to the near wing. Zibanejad gets a true hop off the glass. Goes to the point, but it skips out from Corrali. Corrali helps it back along. Olivier's going to race for it short-handed. Run out of real estate back behind the net. 15 seconds to go, but Columbus has the puck. Zibanejad, though, takes it away. Time for one last rush with 10 seconds. Goes up to the far wing. Trocheck with a couple of moves. Gets the sharp angle back behind the net. Slings it around the near wall, but no one's at the point. Comes back out. Columbus able to kill it. Rangers 0 for 3 on the power plays. Borgen sends it down. Tarasov loses the puck, and Cooley just couldn't get there in time as it's poked to the near boards. Out of the air is Lafreniere to the far boards, and Carrot holds it in. Climbs the circle. Sharp angle shot goes over Provorov and wide. Miller keeps, leaves for Lafreniere. Slides a pass to Carrot. Far corner, Werenski right on top of him. It spins to his forehand. Goes back behind the net for Lafreniere. Can't center. Provorov gets to the near corner, helps it in the near glass, but Cooley keeps. Slides to the far boards. 11:30 to go. Borgen with a shot blocked down. Cooley with a backhand doesn't get through. Carrot spins to his forehand to the far wall. His shot goes off of Fabro's stick onto Werenski, and he sends it off the far wall and out. Both teams will change. 11:15 to go in regulation. Still 5-3 Columbus. That's how we started the third. Marchenko steals and sends it on net. Quick steers at the Borgen. He goes back behind his own cage. He's pestered by a couple of Blue Jackets, and including Fantilli, but still sent back out of the zone by Brodzinski. Here comes Rempe with a head of steam. Rempe leaves it back for Othman. Gets it back out to Brodzinski and a big save. Rebound by Hoffman, but he couldn't get a shot away. Clear back to the point. Held in nicely by Schneider, not once but twice. Brodzinski spins on his backhand to the near boards. Pokes it to the corner and Rempe. Rempe helps it along with Brodzinski, all to the right of Tarasov. Still stuck to the near corner. 10.5 to go. Fantilli swipes at it, can't get it around Rempe. Marchenko is there as well. Fantilli tries the far side to exit the zone, but Schneider keeps. Schneider spins on his backhand, climbs to the blue line, finds Brodzinski with a blast and a paddle save by Tarasov. Marchenko on his forehand, can't get it around Othman. Still pinned to the near boards. Rempe back out to the point. Vakanainen finds Schneider. Schneider with a shot. Blocked by Brodzinski, goes to the far corner. Centering pass. Marchenko cuts off Rempe. Climbs to the far boards and clears.
Well, that's a heck of a shift once again by Rempe, Hoffman, and Brodzinski.
Schneider waits for his mate's backhands at the Trocheck. Under 10 to play in regulation. Lafreniere bouncing over his stick. Here comes Olivier. Olivier in a 2-on-2. Joins a 3-on-2 now as Johnson joins the party. Olivier with a backhand saved by Quick. And it bounces in. Quick made the original stick save, and it bounced in the air behind Quick and in. And now it is 6-3.
How in the world does this thing go in the net? Johnson, now again, give Olivier a credit. I mean, he just barrels down the left side, and Johnson's going to get credit. Olivier comes in. He's on his backhand. He drives the net. It goes off the left hand of Zach Jones. That's how it gets in the net. Zach Jones goes to scoop it, goes to grab it. Boy, I'll tell you, if that doesn't kind of encapsulate this Ranger season, baby, again. Jones, I think Jones was part. I don't know how Johnson's going to get credit for this.
I don't think he will. Johnson led the rush back to the bench, but I think this is going to be Olivier's goal. I don't think it hit Johnson, did you? It looked like it just went off of the stick of Quick into the glove of Jones and hopped into the air.
It was almost like Jones.
So
maybe that, as Olivier drives the net, that puck did pop up in the air, and maybe he made contact before it hit the glove of the goaltender. Because after it goes off the glove, there's no other stick, right?
It was such a weird goal, right? Because you see the shot from Olivier hit his stick, it pop in the air, and I'm watching it just sail into the net, not sure exactly what it went off of. The one angle we saw, it did look like it went off of Jones' glove, but what we didn't see is did it possibly deflect off Johnson then off of Jones's glove. Either way, it's a killer fluke goal. Rangers were really doing well even after failing on their power play to continue getting pressure and trying to draw within one, and now it's a very tall order, down 3 with under 9 minutes to go here. Rangers getting outshot 25 to 23. Faceoff will be to the right of Jonathan Quick. So as I mentioned earlier, Dave, couldn't buy a goal the last time the two teams were at the Garden. And now we've seen 9 in every way, shape, or form, including the Rangers. 2 of their 3 goals have come shorthanded.
Yeah, it's been a bad night 5-on-5, that's for sure, for the Rangers. Bad night 5-on-5, bad night for the power play.
Now 0 for 3 now, 1 for its last 20. Now they are crediting Olivier with the goal. And a shot between the circles by Brodzinski, saved by Tarasov, and Brodzinski got to the rebound, and Tarasov makes another save again, and we'll get a face-off in the Columbus end.
Yeah, we talked about this line in the first period, and again, 5-on-5, they've been the best Ranger line.
Really has.
No question. I mean, Brodzinski's speed in the middle, Hoffman's speed off the wing, and he's physical, and then Rempe's been really good in the offensive zone.
Start to see get a little bit more confidence each game, playing better. And this is the longest run he's had, Dave,
Sure.
right? Getting a chance to play every day.
Well, he's had 10 minutes already.
Yeah, and there's still...
That's the good news. The bad news is that doesn't reflect well on the rest of the Rangers. I mean, if they're setting the table as Quick stops the play, if puck comes off the board, if that line is setting the table, that's put you down 6-3. It's been a tough night.
Hockey season is the perfect time to replace your old boiler with a new Peerless boiler. Don't wait until you have no heat. Go to peerlessboilers.com for a dealer near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. So as Dave said, Quick got the stop. So we'll have a face-off to his left with 8:27 to go. Both teams with 25 shots on goal. Face-off win. Marchenko with a shot in the toe saved by Quick. Goes to the far boards. Marchenko. Provorov with a shot went off the side of the net. Played by Fantilli. Drives back behind the net. Voronkov to the near circle. Marchenko back out to the point. Severson waits. Taps back to Marchenko. Then settles back to Fantilli, who scores. And he gets the hat trick. And now it's a blowout. It's 7-3.
Yeah, Fantilli, wide open. This is a hell of a pass from Marchenko. Marchenko finds the kid in the middle of the ice. And the Rangers flailing and hoping. And once again, it's been Rangers, again, in key areas of the ice that just don't play with enough discipline. And, again, it's garbage time. There's no question. But the kid, he's a hell of a player. That's 21 on the season. Again, Johnson, young guy. Sillinger's another good young player, is hurt. Columbus team on a really good, season, given everything, we talk about happening in the offseason. And new coach, Dean Evison, who expects his team to play hard. They do play hard. And the Rangers are down 7-3. Wow.
What a change from when it was 3-3. Borgen can't keep it in. Rangers had 2 shorthanded goals. But giving up those 2 late goals in the second. Now give up 2 goals here in the third. Partial breakaway for JT Miller, but Christensen gets back. Miller spins to the far boards, leaves it in the corner. Severson cuts it off. Back to the point. Miller holds it in. Slings a shot that gets knocked down by Jenner, goes into the Columbus bench, and we'll get a whistle with 7:39 to go in the third period. And the Rangers trail 7-3 here in regulation. You're listening to Rangers Hockey on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network.
But it's going to make for a pleasant plane trip tomorrow.
Brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka. For recipes and more, visit them at titosvodka.com. So the Rangers trail 7-3 here in the third period, and what was a big weekend taking on teams around them or ahead of them in the standings, and it looks like the Rangers will come away with just one of a possible 4 points, and they will hit the road to take on Winnipeg and Minnesota, and the weekend will then conclude against Columbus and Edmonton.
Well, again, it's, that 3-game series. The first 2, you get yourself 4 out of the 6 points. Now the next 6, you get 2. And then you got to go on the road. And I thought that this particular segment was going to be crucial. And the first 3-game segment is, now you've got to make up ground, right? Head-to-head. You had a chance head-to-head with Columbus, head-to-head with Ottawa. Again, the Rangers' schedule, I think, was at least the 3rd toughest of the teams contending. Right. So you've got, then you got to go out west. You got to go to Florida and Carolina. It's
tough. I mean, Detroit's got the toughest schedule. Detroit's in that mix as well. New Jersey won today, so they've got 74, but they're clearly in the mix. There's 18 games after today. But we can scoreboard watch, and that's something for the fans and the media to do.
Well, the thing is,
got to start winning games.
Yeah, and you're not going to win games playing the way the Rangers have played the last 6 periods. It's been no defensive conscience, no, when you're going to make them, when you're putting the puck, you put it somewhere.
DeAndre Miller has it slide through his stick, but keeps it alive for Panarin. Panarin, near boards, slings a shot that goes off a Cunnin. DeAndre Miller back out to the far wing, and Panarin slings it around for Trocheck, who's at the near wing. He gets smacked down by Cunnin. And that's going to draw a penalty, and now bodies come together. Borgen drops the gloves. He's going to go at it with Cunnin. So that's a fight right there, and that's a big-time bout as they're slinging rights right up against the near glass. And Borgen with a big right knocks Cunnin down.
Yeah, Cunnin was picked up the trade. Cunnin's a scrappy guy, and I'm not sure it was a punch that knocked him down. He had the right going, and he was pulling with the left, and I think he flings him around with the left. As Cunnin picked up, again, he is a gritty, tough player. He picked up from the San Jose Sharks, and he fits right in to how Everson wants his team to play. Comes in hard on Trocheck here. In comes Borgen, and where there were some big punches thrown in that fight.
So now the officials will get together. The original call, I believe, was going to be a boarding on Cunnin. So we'll see after all these penalties are called whether the Rangers will indeed go on their fourth power play with 7:19 to go in regulation. Zibanejad and Jenner having a conversation with Jordan Samuels-Thomas. So we'll take a second here to figure it out.
And I don't know that it was so much an instigator of a Borgen. I mean, he did go in, but as the officials now, it looks like he's going to get an instigator, so he'll get 2, 5, and a 10. That'll be it for Will Borgen.
Yeah, so Borgen's going to go to the dressing room. The conversation continues with Zibanejad and Jenner. Zibanejad's going to spit out, head to the bench. Jenner's going to continue his conversation now with John McIsaac and Jordan Samuels-Thomas. And we will get the call from McIsaac at some point. But it looks like the Rangers can come out of here with a power play as Cunnin's back up to maybe leave.
I'm not sure about that, Donnie. There's nothing on the board yet. It probably is going to be 2 for boarding, 2 for instigating, right?
Yeah, maybe. Cunnin's back up. He's going to leave as well, so I think he's going to get 10 minutes.
Maybe he gets a 5 for boarding. All right. Okay, so what would he get other than why would he be leaving 2 and 5? Well, 7:19 left in the game. It looks like the Rangers are on the power play. They've got 6 guys on the ice.
Yeah, so we still haven't gotten an announcement yet. I don't know why McIsaac didn't tell us what the penalties were. So we'll wait for it to come up on the board.
So maybe he gets 2 for boarding, 2 for roughing. Huh. Yeah, just a little help here, folks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't make the announcement. I know it's 7-3 late, but all right, well, left to our own devices. They do have the boarding penalty up and the fighting major, and for Borgen, just the fighting. So I guess they both went for fighting. Why they both exited, I'm not sure, but the Rangers get a power play. Jones sneaks in, shot one. So the Rangers 0 for 3. Jones at the near point, slings it out to the far boards for Miller. JT Miller for Zibanejad with a shot that's blocked by Fabro. Recollected by Jones, spins it back up top for Panarin. Panarin deflection by Trocheck, goes wide. Miller back to Panarin. Panarin back to Jones. Jones, JT Miller at the far circle. Miller gets it back down low. Kreider, his centering pass goes off of Fabro, and then gloved down by the goaltender. Tarasov will get the whistle. 1:31 to go on the power play. So it sounds like both got 10-minute misconducts. That's why they exited the ice, Dave.
And Kunin got 2 for roughing, 2 for boarding. Borgen got the instigator, so it's a minute 30 left on the power play situation.
So 1:31 to go on the power play. Rangers on their 4th power play. Trocheck tried to get it out to the point, but it splits Jones and Panarin and goes all the way down. Rangers have emptied the net to our right. So they've got the extra attacker plus the opportunity here on the power play as it goes back out to Zibanejad for Jones. Jones slings it out to the far wall and JT Miller. JT Miller waits, Panarin, one-timer, just goes wide, collected down by Kreider, poked at by JT Miller. The puck was loose again, but they blew the whistle dead.
Yeah, not quite sure why. Again, McIsaac's pointing at something. Here it's... Doesn't really matter, Eddie. 7-3 with 6 minutes and 21 seconds left. Artemi Panarin, shot on goal. Face off to the left. On the Columbus net. Minute 2 left in the Rangers power play. 6-on-4 with the net empty.
And off the face-off, Zibanejad back to the point, and Jones straight away, creeps up, gets it out to JT Miller. At the far board, switches sides, gets it out. One-timer, Zibanejad, shoulder save by Tarasov. Fabro off the near boards, but not out as JT Miller keeps. Slides a pass back out to the far wing. Panarin back to Miller. Miller back to Panarin. Panarin back behind the net. Finds Zibanejad, but it goes off of Olivier, but kept alive by Trocheck. Miller with a shot that goes wide. Zibanejad tries the short side. Tarasov makes the save. Back to the near point, and Jones. Jones slides it out to the corner, and Zibanejad. 28 seconds to go on the power play. To the right of the Blue Jackets net. Jenner out of the near corner trying to fish it out. So's Trocheck. Time ebbing away on this power play and the game as we approach 5.5 minutes. Jones sets up a one-timer by Miller. Kicked aside by Provorov. Can't clear. Second attempt finally gets it back out of the zone with 10 to go on the power play. Jones a quick transition to Panarin. Panarin slides at the Miller, but the pass is behind him. Fabro can't clear as Panarin keeps it alive. Finds JT Miller. JT Miller has it stripped by Fabro off the glass and down. Out comes Van Riemsdyk from the box. He's the first to get there with the net empty. Slides around, backhand centering pass. Corrali couldn't get a shot. Panarin will bring it up. We approach 5 minutes to go. Rangers 0 for 4 on the power play. They keep the net empty as Carrick gets it out to Panarin. Pass goes to the far boards, but Kreider was exiting the zone. And it'll be taken by Aston Reese. Passes back out to Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk's got a wide open net, but his shot gets deflected off a skate and wide.
It's blocked by Cooley.
Here comes Sam Carrick. Rangers on a 3-on-2. Carrick to the far boards, but the play is offside with 4:44 to go in regulation, and the Blue Jackets still with a 7-3 lead on the New York Rangers. New York Rangers hockey on ESPN New York and the MSG Radio Network continues after this timeout.
Ranger fans, when deciding to take a charter bus, there's only one choice. That's Best Trails and Travel, New York City's premier charter bus company. Best Trails and Travel have the highest level of charter bus service in New York City, and they've been serving New York's leading corporations, professional sports teams, and private individuals for 30 years. They offer premier customer service and the newest fleet of buses in the industry. Whether you're traveling with family, friends, or colleagues, Best Trails and Travel guarantees you the ultimate traveling experience. Visit them at besttrailstravel.com or call 212-206-6974.
Tito's handmade vodka on game day? Pour me in, coach. From a seat in the stands to the best seat on the couch, root for your favorite team with your favorite team spirit. No matter who's on your roster, lineup, or lucky jersey, make Tito's your first round bottle pick. Whose house? Tito's house. Find cocktail recipes for every fan at titosvodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Ranger fans, when deciding to take a charter bus, there's only one choice. That's Best Trails and Travel, New York City's premier charter bus company. Best Trails and Travel have the highest level of charter bus service in New York City, and they've been serving New York's leading corporations, professional sports teams, and private individuals for 30 years. They offer premier customer service and the newest fleet of buses in the industry. Whether you're traveling with family, friends, or colleagues, Best Trails and Travel guarantees you the ultimate traveling experience. Visit them at besttrailstravel.com or call 212-206-6974.
4:44 to go in regulation. Columbus with a 7-3 lead on the Rangers. The Final Five is brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka. For recipes and more, visit them at titosvodka.com.
Face off in the neutral zone on the Columbus side of the red line. Across the way, just about directly across from Donnie and I's position here at the Chase Bridge.
So, Dave, the Rangers power play now 0 for 4, 1 for its last 21. Something they're clearly going to have to continue to work on here in the final 18 games. Berard, backhand, gets around a check, pickpocketed Matejchuk back behind the net. Rangers will try again to escape the zone. Olivier all over Vakanainen, allowing Chinnikov to take. Loses thanks to a poke check from Cooley. Cleared out. Misses Cooley. Will go down for an icing and a face-off back down to Jonathan Quick with 4:12 to go. I know Quick has given up 7 goals on 27 shots, but can't really fault him.
Well, he's still got to make a save. The Fantilli, the Fantilli to make it 2-1. That was a distance. You can't fault him. I mean, you're not going to fault him for what he's been able to do, but 7 goals on 27 shots, you've got to make a save.
Yeah, you're right at the end of the day.
Right.
Severson's shot, wicked shot, goes wide off the end boards. Pinned to the board by Vakanainen and Berard. Aston Reese, the former Penguin, there as well. All to the right of Jonathan Quick, under 4 to play. Rangers down 4. Hops to the side of the cage. Corrali with it. Corrali on his forehand. Tries a sharp angle. Goes off the skate of Berard into the crease, with Quick's able to get a whistle with 3:45 to go.
The thing, too, is Washington's a big, heavy team. Brady Tkachuk, big, heavy guy, was the best player in Ottawa. And you got a Columbus team that collectively plays heavy. The Rangers just have difficulty, right? The difficulties, particularly when you have such a scrambly structure or lack of structure in your own end of the ice, because you can't chase down mistakes. Try and chase down mistakes, you make more mistakes.
Olivier passes to Severson. Out to Chinnikov. Chinnikov with Danforth. Danforth far wing. Out to Severson. His centering pass, though, stick to side. Brodzinski will bring it up with Othman. Brennan Othman, far wing, circle, distant shot goes off Olivier. Looked like it hurt his leg. Rangers keep it alive with Jones, far circle. Wrist shot gets deflected by Rempe off the high glass. Brodzinski goes down awkwardly on a check by Chinnikov, but he springs back up. Christensen finds Severson. With 3 minutes to go, both teams will make wholesale changes. Rangers out shooting Columbus 30-27, but the Blue Jackets with a comfortable 7-3 lead. Corrali, Aston Reese, centering pass picked off by Zibanejad. He spins and brings it up. Zibanejad finds Cooley at the far wing. Cooley on his backhand, slings a shot. Tarasov with a stick save. JT Miller back to Keandre Miller. To Schneider. Schneider, deflection by Miller. Goes off a Blue Jacket to the far boards, and now Corrali will send it out. DeAndre Miller to Cooley. Cooley to Zibanejad for JT Miller with a shot. Tarasov with the save, and he holds on.
The well-executed play entering the offensive zone. JT Miller has to corral this puck, and in one motion he corrals it and fires it, and Tarasov makes a big save. Off the glove, and then, again at 6'5", he swipes the legs together to stop any further activity. So
Rangers 30-second shots at the faceoff beat to the left of the Blue Jackets netminder. As you said, Dave, these two teams will hook up in Columbus in 6 days to finish up the Rangers' 3-game road trip. Winnipeg Tuesday, Minnesota Thursday, and that goes out of play, and we'll get a whistle. And then Saturday at Columbus, and then a quick turnaround. Rangers will play home against the Edmonton Oilers a week from today.
Face off in the neutral zone here with 2:17 left on the clock. Kenny Trocheck in the middle of the ice with Panarin on his left. Boy, Lafreniere has been offensively invisible, hasn't he?
Yeah. Not a lot there.
Right.
So now it gets sent down by Chinnikov. Quick waits for it to get in the trapezoid. Up the near wall. Chopped at by Chinnikov to the far wall. Vakanainen first to get there. Slides it to Lafreniere and back out. Trocheck a little too hard for him with the pass, but now Lafreniere swoops in, finds Trocheck. Trocheck to Soucy. Soucy with a shot wide. Vakanainen pokes it to Panarin. Slides to the near wall. Minute 40 to go. Trocheck stripped of the puck by Severson, who backhands it to the near wall and out of his zone. Soucy sends it back in where it's gloved by Tarasov and leaves it back behind the net. Both teams make wholesale changes with a minute and a half to go. So Columbus will beat the Rangers for the first time this year. Rangers still lead the series 2-1. This will be the first time it was not decided by a goal. Berard passes out to Kreider. Kreider waits, leaves it back for Carrick. Carrick centering pass to Berard, doesn't get through. Rebound goes to the far boards and Carrick. Carrick leaves for Kreider. Back out to the point for Jones. It's a good job to keep it at the blue line. Carrick, edge of the trapezoid. Centering pass goes off the side of the net. And cleared to the near boards for Van Riemsdyk. Under a minute to play. Far wall, Jones. Corrali gets it deeper. Finds Van Riemsdyk. Spins it back behind the net. Aston Reach can't catch up with it. Kreider can on his forehand. Gets it out of the zone for Berard. Berard skates to the red line, leaves, and the Rangers will make their final change of the game with 35 to go. Played back behind the cage by Fabro, who had a goal in this game under 30 to play. Fans showing their displeasure as they head for the exits, and Columbus still has it back behind the net with 20 to play. And Columbus just content to wait it out, get their first victory of the year against the Rangers. And the Blue Shirts, after back-to-back overtime losses, now suffer a regulation loss as the clock is going to zero out. 3, 2, and 1, and that'll do it on a very difficult Sunday night at Madison Square Garden as Columbus wins by the final score of 7-3.
Well, again, there's just nothing to say. I mean, it was a crucial back-to-back situation for the Rangers, and they were badly outplayed in Ottawa, despite the fact of the lead. It was Shesterkin, and then Ottawa just got around the net, scored, and then tonight, the Rangers, on the third goal, you don't get it deep. And the fourth one, there's missed coverage coming out of the corner. And, it just probably epitomizes, the downturns of this season. Again, when it goes bad, it goes really bad. And it was not very good tonight.
Well, Rangers will hit Winnipeg on Tuesday. Dave, enjoy your travels.
All right, Donnie, we'll talk, buddy.
And we'll
Thank
talk
you.
on
Good
Tuesday.
Job,
as Kenny will be back on the call on Tuesday night in Winnipeg, and I'll have the pregame show as the Rangers embark on a 3-game road trip. Winnipeg on Tuesday, Minnesota on Thursday, Columbus on Saturday, and then Sunday back here at Madison Square Garden against the Edmonton Oilers. So the Rangers drop their record to 31-27-6. They stay at 68 points, playing their 64th game. Columbus now 70 points. They now take over the first wild card with 63 games played. Ottawa with 62 games played, they slide to the second wild card. So the Rangers just a point out of the playoffs. However, Columbus has 2 games in hand, and Detroit will be 2 back of the Rangers with a game in hand as well. So the Rangers still very much within striking distance, but need to play better than they really played over the last couple of days, and certainly today as they lose 7-3. The Final Five was brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original crafted vodka. For recipes and more, visit